The opinions expressed on this show do not necessarily reflect those of the Barbers Chat Network, our great partners at H&B Media, or any of our media peers. We're just five idiots who love sports and love to talk shit. If you're offended easily, then this show isn't for you. And for those of you who aren't offended easily, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Remember, it's only entertainment.
So cool.
Triple double hat trick, I know the code too. Ice trade, go for trade, yeah we cold too. Getting paper on these player haters, old news, money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold. My agent just said we made 100 flat. Make it back and make it stack just like I'm Steven Jack. Put my rings up in the camera like I needed that. Up in the air and at the rim is where I meet them at. Triple double hat trick, I know the code too. Ice trade, go for trade, yeah we cold too. Getting paper on these player haters, old news, money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another edition of I'm Not Gonna Hold You. It is Monday, December 9th, 2024. I am your host, Scott. Of course, you know to follow me on all social media platforms at Barberchair Scott. You can follow the Barberchair Network at Barberchair Net on all social media platforms, and you can also follow H&B Media at H&B Media TV on Twitter and at H&B Media on Instagram, man. Subscribe to the Patreon. Patreon.com/Barberchair Network, man. If you are listening to this on the podcast screen, on the podcast version on Apple, Spotify, whatever you listen to, just click on the link in the description box. It's in the description box. If not, if you watch this on YouTube, take your phone up to the QR code and it'll take you to the link. If you subscribe to the $10 holla, the all access feed, that means you get 25% off your first order on the Barbershop Network shop, and that is bcnetshop.com, man. So we appreciate everybody who was purchased. Shout out to everybody listening to the audio as well, man. We got a big show for y'all. We've got Dante's out today. He was on one of his golfing trips. he had to get on a later flight, so he won't be here today. Courtney will be joining us later on in hour 3 as she's gonna get her rant, talk about how Arizona State. They got the number 4 seed in the college football playoffs, and they won the Big 12 championship this weekend. And she got a lot of shit to talk about, man. So we're gonna get into that full show. Pavy will be joining us in Block 3 as well. We want to talk about some NBA. It's knockout week in the NBA Cup tournament. Talk about that. Talk about other things going on in the NBA as well, man. Big show on deck. Let's bring in our guest, not guest, but the co-host for today, Mikey and Bang. Bang, you were out on Friday. It's good to have you back, Mikey. You're back with us. Of course, you can follow Bang at GR Bang on all social media platforms. You can follow Mikey at Junior_Solito on Twitter, or as I refer him when I post on Instagram, no IG Mikey is what I tag now when I advertise on Instagram. So, Bang, how was your weekend? How are you feeling?
It's a loaded question. Loaded question. No, man, everything's good. Just another day in working in corporate and everything, but everything's good. Even on Sunday with what happened, that was, everything is good.
That's good. Well, I was on. I thought I was on mute. I was about to give myself the fine. See, Bang, you missed it. We debuted the fine sound on the show.
Oh, we got a fine sound?
Yeah, I'm finna play it. We got Nikhil. You can play the fine sound so Bang knows. There we go. That's a fine.
Let's go.
Whoa, that's a fine. The first person to get it was Dante on Friday, and I thought he wasn't gonna get it. I was like, me and the kid was texting like, man, we almost done with the show. Ain't nobody fucked up. Like, what's going on? So that's a fine. That's a fine.
You should have seen our reaction. We thought we were hacked. We thought somebody got into the StreamYard. Everybody was looking around like,
It was quite hilarious, man. Mikey, how you feeling, bro? How was your weekend?
chilling, man. Had a good weekend. Kicked it with my people. Celebrated a couple birthdays. Yeah, it was cool. Low key weekend, man. Surprisingly, this 50-degree weather is amazing right now.
You
Yeah.
never know how amazing 50-degree weather is when you spend 4 days with it being a low of 10. Like it's ridiculous. We should not live like this. I was in California long enough to I got adjusted to California winters. I've gotten a smack back of Chicago winters, and I don't like it. I don't like it whatsoever. But yeah, man. For me, it was a cool weekend, nice relaxing weekend. I've enjoyed having a couple red zone Sundays because the Bears haven't had a Sunday game in a couple weeks, so the Bears should be fine. But yeah, we're gonna get into that in just a minute, man. But definitely a cool weekend. As of right now, there will not be a show on Monday because I am planning to go to Minnesota to cover Monday Night Football. Unless anything changes over the next couple of days, there won't be a show on Monday. If there is a last minute change, I will let everybody know about a Friday show. But as of right now, this will be the last Monday show of 2024 because next Friday, the 20th, will be the last show of the year. Because then we're gonna go on break. I think everybody deserves to go on break. We've been giving y'all great content all year, and then we'll be back on January 3rd to get y'all ready for the final weekend in the NFL and getting into the NFL playoffs. So if you missed that announcement, I will be making it countless times over the next 10 to 11 days. So definitely, man. So let's just get right into the local hour.
It is the local hour.
There we go. The local hour is here, ladies and gentlemen. Oh man, where do we start? The Bears yesterday in Santa Clara got the doors blown off. That game was over in the first quarter. This is a game that everybody unanimously picked the Bears to win. Everybody on the show. Now Bane wasn't here, so I don't know what his pick would have been, but everybody else picked the Bears to win on Friday, and that was not remotely the case. The Bears lost 38-13. Yesterday, this game was over in the first quarter. Caleb Williams did some great LeBron James stat padding yesterday, which is all fine and dandy to me because at this point in the season, I'm just here for stats. He went 17-23, 134 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 nice, beautiful throws to Roma Dunze. But the first half was just all terrible by the offense. I think he had -5 passing yards in halftime. This offense in general had 4 yards as an offense at halftime. There's really no other stats to even be looking at outside of what I just named. Tyson Bagent was even able to throw a ball. That's how bad it was. Yeah, Shane O'Mac, you said it. First drive, it was over. This defense. We sat on here on Friday and we said, yo, I really want to know what's it going to be like with Eric Washington calling plays now. What's the defense going to be like now that they don't have Flus? Are they going to be more energized? The team is going to be more energized. More than anything, the effort is what I was disappointed with. I thought that with everything they've been through in these last 6 losses, with so many of them having a lot to do with coaching decisions, the way the locker room has been tight these last couple of weeks, and just how it's been this past week at Hallis, everybody's saying, oh, it's a different vibe. And when DJ Moore says it's easy to breathe now and all that, I thought we see a relaxed team, an energetic team, ready to go out there and break this win streak and at least finish the season off on a better run. That was completely not the case. The Niners came out the way I expected the Bears to come out. And even more embarrassing for the Bears, this is a beat-up Niners team. It's a team without Christian McCaffrey. It's a team without their backup running back who's been really, really good in Christian McCaffrey's absent. This is without Trent Williams on the offensive line. This is without Nick Bosa on the defensive line. And they went out there and just smacked him in the mouth. I kind of felt like Kyle Shanahan felt like he was disrespected for his name to be in the Bears conversation. He's like, I'm going to show y'all why you Niners fans who want me out of here, what should be missing? And for you Bears fans who want me, why you gonna have to pay the $5? I feel like he went to that game with a little bit of an edge in the play calling yesterday. So defensively, I've had to blame. Everybody's out to blame. And I think I said this on 7 Night the House yesterday. Maybe Flus isn't here anymore. So you can't go to him. Now we can go back to blaming the players. Like I said a couple weeks ago, we can't let the players off the hook. Everything isn't just coaching. Coaching has a great deal to do with it. But this is, I believe, is, if not always was, or starting to become a very bad locker room. I love DJ Moore. Love Cole Kmet. I'm starting to think Cole Kmet is more and more like a 40-degree day, like Stringer Bell would say. Nobody gets happy about a 40-degree day. I've seen him in front of more podcast mics than I've seen him catching balls this year. DJ Moore, love you. Best player on the team, wide receiver right now. Highest paid player in Bears history, rightfully so. But if you're going to be having moods on the sideline, if you're going to be doing all of this, catch the football when it's thrown your way. Now, obviously, none of these plays would really matter in the grand scheme of things because this game was over in the second drive. But it's still stuff that I look at that you got to hold on to. Too many things we've seen over these last couple weeks. Bad drops. Caleb, the performance was what it was. I still think he's having a hard time of letting the ball out when he needs to get it out. He didn't use his legs as much yesterday as I expected him to, as I wanted him to. But overall, I don't really have much problem with it. I think the offensive line was terrible yesterday. Yesterday was the first time in weeks where I blame the offensive line for sacks more than I blame Caleb. The last couple weeks, I'd say that the sacks that did happen were because Caleb didn't get the ball out quick enough. He got sacked 7 times yesterday. Maybe 1 or 2 was on Caleb. The other 5 at least were on the offensive line. And it was just a bad showing, man. I was disappointed because nothing right now at this particular point in the season that can disappoint me. But it's a bad locker room. Jalen Johnson, why are you barking at the offensive players when you're down 24-0? Make your tackle, shut up, and go to the next play. Wrong. I love you. It was a big play, nice touchdown. You down 28-7, my guy. Stop dancing in the end zone. And stuff I don't want to see is a poorly coached team. As far as Thomas Brown, love Thomas Brown. I'm not saying he won't get a look somewhere else. I think the ship has sailed with him getting this job already. You can't have that kind of effort and go out there and have that effort and think you're still going to be considered for this job. I know some people out there said, well, this is why I didn't want him to be head coach. He needs to focus more on offense. I don't think there's anything different with the play calling. Like this team, even in the last couple weeks, it's like they forget the first half exists. This is exactly the same thing I saw. Nothing in the first half, great in the second half, or better in the second half. So they're just kind of like, at this point, we just see that this is just a bad team, bad football team. Matt Eberflus was part of the problem, but he wasn't the sole problem. Bang, I'm going to go to you first because you were not here on Friday, so I'll give the floor to you. Tell me what you took from last night's game.
First of all, I would have picked the San Francisco 49ers to win that game. I would have felt like we would get more life out of the team, that whole interim coach tax, but eventually we lose because we would get out coached. And I just see a lot of people on the internet, listening to sports radio, just like, oh, Thomas Brown. Look, man, Thomas Brown, even with 10 days going up against one of the best coaches in the NFL, he wasn't going to win that game. They are still more talented than the Bears. We was not going to win this game in this situation. And it showed, like Shane O'Mac said after the first drive. After the first drive, I was like, yeah, this shit's over with. I didn't expect them to jump out the way that they did. I just was like, yo, it's no hope. And look, the other part about this is, and you had texted in the group, who you going to blame now? Because, yes, I thought that the team would have a tax, the interim coach tax. They would come out there with more oomph, more fire, and they didn't. And just like every other game that they've had, they start off very slow. The first half is like it don't even matter. The second half, they want to play. And Caleb did have that interception. I mean, not that interception, that fumble that kind of like took them out of it at that time. But Now the onus is on the players. Flus ain't there no more. You got the guy that y'all like in the building. Y'all play like shit. Yeah, that locker room is a problem. And yeah, you got JJ, you got Montez Sweat, you got DJ Moore, Cole Kmet. You have those players. I guess you could say that's the core. The core got to look in the mirror, especially going up in this game. What next against the Minnesota Vikings? Like, that's the problem that I have at this point now. Now it's on the players. Now it's on what you're going to do. And if y'all come out like that playing against the San Francisco 49ers, you worry me in going up against the Minnesota Vikings. So I don't think I'm wrong in saying that this team has no heart. I don't know if it was neutered with the Flus thing. I don't know if they just got tired and everybody just was like, fuck it. I don't know who it's supposed to come to or come from. From what I see right now, you got a team of men that don't give a shit about the rest of the season. So when we played that game, where's the win? It still stands. I don't think they're going to win another game. They're going to have a top 5 pick. It's going to be a brand new coach, and it's going to be a brand new GM, because I don't see how Ryan Poles lasts this at all, especially with some of the things that we talked about earlier today.
And before I give it to Mikey, I'll say this. I said forever, oh, man, they'll get a win. It's the NFL. And they still might. It's the NFL. But at this point, I don't want them to get another win. At this point,
wrong.
There's nothing.
They're not going to win. They're not going to win.
At this point, just give me the hot traffic. And it angers me so much that we're back here. But, Mikey, I'm going to give you the floor. Go ahead.
First off, I want to say shout out to my man Bang. Good to see you back on the pod. You were cooking right there, bro. Everything you said. And I'm going to piggyback off of the fact of what you said about no heart. There's clearly a culture problem within this organization. I have been saying for a while as well, that we can't let the players off the hook. Although, yes, Caleb made some amazing throws against the Lions. He still missed the easy one that would have won the game. And ultimately, I think we were all under the assumption and we were all understanding to know that Matt Eberflus's tenure as the Bears head coach would end this winter. So whether it was last week or whether it was in January, that road had come to an end. So I wanted to see them stack wins. I wanted them to see success on the field for their own morale and for their next, stepping stones for next season. But it's clear that there's a culture problem within that locker room. It is clear if you watch the game, if you watch some of the highlights, people were making business decisions yesterday, and it's very scary because there's still an entire month left of football. There's still 4 more games of football left, and you have Jalen Johnson not engaging on the touchdown run, making a business decision to not jump in there on Isaac Guerrero. Tyreek Stevenson on 4th down, making a decision to not get in there and try to make a stop, allowing them to go ahead and pick up that conversion with the backup running back. Tremaine Edmonds, waste man, nice guy, great guy, waste man, $70 million down the drain to continuously get cooked. DJ Moore, love him. Kind of a piss poor attitude throughout the whole entire season. And it really, and Tyreek Stevenson, somebody that you took in the 2nd round, somebody that you identified as, as what you would thought would be, a cornerstone cornerback, opposite side of Jalen Jones, has completely fallen off the radar. I know, our boy David Kaplan today on his show had actually mentioned that Tyreek Stevenson has been a problem all year in that locker room, and it's repeatedly been late to meetings. And I think it's telling when somebody like Caleb Williams, who's a rookie, who has only played, what is this now, 13 games in the NFL, has to come out and say after, a performance like there was yesterday, it is not my job to tell guys to get into the weight room It is not my job to make sure that guys are staying late doing treatment. It's my job as a captain to come in and try to lead this team to W. So he continues to be the most mature person in the room, and it's extremely unfortunate. And obviously, where does that begin? Matt Eberflus is no longer here. It has to go to the top, has to go to Ryan Poles, has to go to Kevin Warren, has to go to George McCaskey, has to be to the guys that are here. This team has preached culture. They've preached being dependable. They've preached being good leaders of men, being accountable, all of this. These were all reasons why you told me Jalen Carter couldn't be a Chicago Bear. But what is this culture? None of you guys can tell me this culture. What is one thing that this team stands for? What is one thing that this team does well?
Their culture is losing.
Their culture is losing. You wanted guys to play on the field and to play professionally. You got Tyreek Stevenson, doing everything he does. You got Jalen Johnson, doing the strap when you're down 20 points. You got Rome Odunze, rookie, albeit I know it is very difficult to score in this league. Apologies for what's going on outside, but I know it's difficult to score in this league. And when you get in, when you touch pay dirt, you want to celebrate. But we're losing by 20 in the fourth quarter. Don't really got to see the dancing, fam. There's other things that are more important here, and it's getting hard, like you said, Scott and Bang. We're on the player side, but it's starting to trickle up, and it's getting really hard to now defend whether Ryan Poles should, be retained as GM of this team, and if not, if they should just rip the Band-Aid and start fresh and in a month.
I'm gonna get to the Ryan Poles thing in just a second, but I want to say with the Nikhil, throw that comment up real quick about Vrabel. I feel like he's starting to get some momentum. We're gonna talk about that in just a second because I feel like I'm looking for I forgot who tweeted it. Somebody tweeted about who the Bears are gonna be interviewing or planning to interview with Dan McNeil. We'll get to that in just a second, but before we get to the Ryan Pace part of things, I want to talk about one fear that I have with this team. Yes, Caleb has mistakes. He's rookie. He makes rookie mistakes. And Mike, like you said months ago, people on the internet just don't like this nigga. So I have stopped trying to have rational conversations about Caleb. But Caleb's having a really solid rookie year. Has been a rookie year that I think a lot of people who want him to happen, 30 touchdowns, 4,000 yards. No, I think we all expected this team, the infrastructure to be better to help him be better. But he's had a really good year. But this is my fear. For the first time in my life, I've been a Bears fan for 25 plus years. First time in my life as a Bears fan, as a media member, that quarterback is not a worry for me. I'm not worried about this kid. I think he's going to be great. In fact, what he's done this year, circumstances has been amazing. My worry is that they're going to have this great quarterback and do nothing with it. That's my worry. My worry is this is going to be a Dan Marino situation. Maybe they have 1 or 2 years with it really good. The outlier Bears years they usually have in their history, and then they just never, ever get good again. He's putting up great numbers, but he's not winning. Then maybe he's going to be like Matthew Stafford before he was saved by Sean McVay and sent to LA. That's my biggest fear because I am no longer, I said this in the group chat, and I'm with it. I am no longer with the hyping up off-season hype. I'm no longer with that, bro. I don't care who they hire, unless it's somebody like the unrealistic long shot trade, which I just don't see happening. I just don't see them. One, I don't see the Rams or the Niners actually giving up their coach. Number two, if they were open to it, I don't see the Bears giving up draft capital to get a coach. So outside of a proven name like a Kyle Shanahan or a Sean McVay, Ben Johnson, Mike Vrabel, whoever, they're going to have to prove it to me. And I don't care what happens. I don't care who they sign. I got to see it on the field because I'm tired of it. And that's my number one fear as a Bears fan. And they got the quarterback right, but they made everything else around them wrong. And I think that, I can say, he's playing well despite the circumstances, which is true. You also shouldn't want to have your quarterback be in those circumstances. Like
Correct.
him, it's just like when somebody, oh, y'all made it out the hood. It's awesome. But that situation should have never been a thing. Like in a perfect world, we should all be in situations where we're not having to fight and scrap to survive. You don't want your quarterback to be in that situation. Yes, it's good he's playing through it, but you should want it to be as easy as possible. And I just don't have no trust in the people who run the show up in 1920 Football Drive. I don't know if Kevin Warren has full support by George McCaskey like we originally told. I have no idea. And that's the fear that I have, which leads me into Ryan Poles. Now, Ryan Poles, as I was watching the game, final seconds, we're all thinking about culture, things Mikey just mentioned, things Bane just mentioned. And it's funny to me because Ryan Poles bragged about the culture so much this offseason. Look how Ryan Poles looked at the beginning of this year and now. The vibe is just so much different, just how he is getting body language wise. Now, I want to show a clip. I want to show a clip from last week's press conference, which I didn't even realize because I was half dead at that press conference because I was sick. But I want to play a clip from Warren talking about Ryan Poles' job security. But while Warren's talking, also look at Ryan Poles' body language while this is going on. Nikhil wrote that for me.
Make sure we're clear about is Ryan Poles is the general manager of the Chicago Bears, and he will remain the general manager of the Chicago Bears. Ryan is young, he's talented, he's bright, he's hardworking. He has done everything in his power on a daily basis to bring a winner to Chicago. And I'm confident in Ryan. My faith remains strong in Ryan. And as leader of our football operations department and as our general manager, Ryan will serve as the point person on our coach for our upcoming search for a permanent head football coach. Now, we will work in tandem. We will work closely. We will work together on a daily basis to make sure that we bring the best person to the Chicago Bears as our permanent head football coach.
Now, if you look at that nigga face, he looked like when you would get in trouble as a kid and your mama just got done beating your ass, but she giving you all the good things about what you did. You're a good kid and you're going to get better. You're going to clean that room up. You're going to do your schoolwork and you're going to get it done. And we ain't going to have this problem no more. That's what Ryan Poles looked like. And to me, just even when he spoke, it's like when you were like the niggas who had trouble reading. Yeah, exactly. Staring down the paper. You staring down the paper that wasn't there at the point. But then when he started reading his actual statement that he did a couple minutes later, he's looking at it like a nigga who don't really know how to read in class. And yeah, we're gonna do a good job. And we have faith in our quarterback. The man is dead inside. Like the confidence got knocked straight up out of Buddy. And so that it's starting to make. I think that is a 50% chance that he keeps his job. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's something that came out. And I want to show a tweet from our guy, Adam Johns, friend of the program. He tweeted this early this morning. This came up on his podcast, the Hogan Johns podcast. He says, so I'll add it here. Matt Eberflus had a 5-year contract. Ryan Poles has a 4-year deal. The Bears signed Ryan Pace to an extension before he started his head coach search to end with Matt Nagy. To my knowledge, Poles has not been extended yet. That's an interesting thing to me, and it adds a different element because we all know what these new coaches, especially Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson is sending out all the signals and demands on what he wants. Yes, he's sending it to all teams, but I feel like he's really specifically sending it to the Bears. We know about what his interest was in the job last year, and we know it's going to be very particular. I saw some Bears fans out there who were upset about his demands. Like, how dare he? Is the first year. How dare he wants to be in a situation that helps him out when he's in a good situation as it is. I have no problem with those demands. But if you look at every general manager in today's era of the NFL, they want to be every coach, they want to be on the same timeline as a general manager. Nobody wants to be with a lame duck GM. And that's why I think that there's a real chance that Ryan Poles could be fired. I'm putting it 50-50. Because one thing that I found, and we said for weeks on the show, What is Kevin Warren's presence? What is he going to do? All those questions got answered to me last Monday, that he is in full control of this thing. When Jason Leisure asked him, does Ryan Poles have the final say-so on the coach? And he was like, well, it's a tandem thing. And Adam Hogue doubled down and asked the same question. We didn't get a yes. We didn't get a simple yes. Ryan Poles will have the final say-so. And if you see the way this team is going with the personnel decisions now, because the coach is gone, who's the guy who put the team together? Who's the guy who bragged about the culture? Who's the guy who bragged about the depth? Oh, it's going to be so tough to make this team. Look at all his draft picks. How many of them have actually hit? He did a great job on the Carolina trade that got you DJ Moore and eventually got you Caleb Williams. Bravo. Good on that. But everything else he's got to come accounted for. So if they don't lose, if they don't win another game for the rest of this year, and they finish on an 11-game loser streak, he could be out of it. And on top of that, this is not Kevin Warren's guy. Kevin Warren joined the organization a year later, and I truly believe everything's on the table. But also the question I have with Kevin Warren is how much power is George McCaskey giving him? So there's a lot of question marks here that I got on that. Mikey, I'm going to go to you. What do you think about Poles' job security and going around with the demands that you see from Ben Johnson, what Adam Johns tweeted, and just even what Kevin Warren said about Ryan Poles last Monday?
I hope, how do I say this? I hope Kevin Warren I hope he didn't put his foot in his mouth and really make another mistake publicly, PR-wise, in saying that Ryan Poles will be back next year. I hope he truly believes that, because if a month later he comes out and for some reason he says we're moving on from Ryan Poles, that makes them look worse. Twice in a 2-month span, it makes them look terrible for sending Matt Eberflus up to do the Zoom press conference when they know they were going to fire him, and then saying and putting it on record with Ryan Poles sitting right next to him, saying that we're going to keep him and I have full faith in him, and then we fire him. But if I was Kevin Warren, I'll be honest with you, I'm running my own little secret background information on these head coaching candidates. I'm looking at what their demands are. I'm reading the tea leaves on what their appetite is for working with Ryan Poles, or if they demand, that their own GM be in, because everybody wants to be, tied at the hip. Everybody wants job security. Listen, I 100% believe when the reports come out that Ben Johnson is interested, but it has to be the right job, has to make sense for multiple reasons. And if not, he is fine being in Detroit. Why wouldn't he be? Probably looking at a perennial playoff team. Obviously, this is going to be the third winning season that the Lions have in a row, record-wise. Second year back-to-back that they'll be in the playoffs. You're looking at a potential 1 seed. Offense is clicking. Jared Goff is there. Amon-Ra is there. Jahmyr Gibbs is there. David Montgomery. He likes his life in Detroit. He's not really pressed to leave. He can easily become the highest paid offensive coordinator. He doesn't need a head coaching job. Yes, for career advancement and to build his own name on his own, I'm sure he would love it, but he doesn't need this job. The Chicago Bears need Ben Johnson. So they have to come correct. And if I'm Kevin Warren, I'm making sure that I do this the right way. Last year we really harped on the fact that we were all in alignment. Flus should have been fired, and they should be marrying the new head coach with the new QB. Nothing has changed. If anything, now we should be discussing this offseason. How do we marry, or do we marry the new head coach with his own GM, with Caleb on that playing field? Because you can go ahead and give Ryan Poles an extension. He's got a 4-year deal. This is year 3, so he'll be going into his last year next year. So that'll be year 4. You can give him a 4-year extension, and you can go ahead and sign, Ben Johnson, Mike Vrabel to a 4-year deal, 5-year deal, whatever. But if next year is no better than this year, then he's got to go. And now you have a head coach who is like, oh shit, now I got to rebuild with another GM that comes with more roster decisions. It's a mess. I think the argument can honestly be split. I think you appropriately addressed it as 50-50. I think you could give him a 50% job as to why, a 50% reason as to why he should keep his job. I think there's a 50% reason as to why he should lose his job. I think he has, I hate to say this because we gassed him all spring, all summer, and I hate to do it, but I think he has more misses than hits 3 years in. And if you are at the head of, I don't know where Bang stands, and I know you, Scott, you think that they may run into a win here, but I had them being outside of last week. I think we were riding the Thomas Brown, Kool-Aid, drinking a little bit of that too much, but I said that they would only win the Seattle game. Fast forward from when I said that a month ago to now, Seattle's looking like
on fire.
Seattle's looking like one of the better teams in the NFC, looking like, they're playing for a division. They're clicking on offense. They're clicking on defense. They have impressive road wins. They've gone on the road and beat the Niners. They've gone on the road and beat the Cardinals. They've gone on the road late and, flown across country and beat the Jets. So, and it's not like they've been runaways. Yesterday was pretty much of a runaway, but they had to battle back against the Niners. They had to battle back against the Jets, and it takes some resolve with a rookie head coach. So I don't see them getting another win. And if they don't get another win, then what are we looking at? We're looking at ending this season on an 11-game losing streak, having a 9-game losing streak last year, and the only person that has remained since then, since now Flus and his squad is gone, and Justin is gone, and is Ryan Poles. So how can he not be held accountable for that? That falls on him. So it's going to be very interesting. Just look at it, how these head coaches are. These head coaches that come in, they want their own guy. Mike Vrabel had some issues over in Tennessee with the GM. Once the GM went ahead and made that move to trade A.J. Brown to the Eagles and draft Treylon Burks, we see how that is. Treylon Burks' career, for the most part, is done in Tennessee with another injury, and A.J. Brown is, A.J. Brown. So does Ben Johnson want to leave for that? Does Mike Vrabel want to do that? You also have to wonder, what is the pecking order here? Who is Mike Vrabel reporting to? Who has final say on roster decisions? Who is responsible for hiring the assistant coaches and the coordinators? Because if we read through the tea leaves, it sounds like Ryan Poles didn't have that authority last year. He wanted to fire Flus, allegedly, after last season. They told him no. He wanted somebody like Cliff Kingsbury to be the OC. They told him no. Flus decided on Waldron, and Flus had final say-so on who would be the coaches on his staff. If that's the case, then what is Ryan Poles doing? What is he ultimately responsible for here? So I think they have to look very, very deep and very hard into what these prospective coaches want, what the appetite is for working under somebody like Ryan Poles, and having to make a decision from there, because this is the time to get it all right, because I guarantee you Caleb Williams will leave if they botch this next one. There is nothing they can do to keep him. You can franchise him, all of that shit. Listen, he will leave if they continue to fuck this up. And it would be peak Bears to have finally a solution at quarterback, and everything else is, that doesn't align.
And what's funny about that? I literally was thinking about that last night, bro. As the game was ended, I forgot what game I was watching. I think it was the Mahomes Herbert Sunday Night Football. I was like, this is a new era of player. This is the NIL era quarterback. Because I think I said to myself, oh yeah, that's what I said. I said to myself, I was like, look, if Caleb would have known what was going to happen this year, he 100% would have been like, I don't want to go to Chicago. Like, if they'd have known, they had a crystal ball to tell them what's going to happen, those rumors that we heard all early this year would have came true. And you're right, Mikey. If they don't get this right, he'll be here through his rookie deal. Even when they franchise him, he ain't going to go nowhere. But there's not going to be a big second deal if this is just a mess.
No, they'll trade him. They'll trade him for a haul. They'll end up it'll be a Jay Cutler situation.
And I know that kind of thing is very rare in the NFL. Very rare in the NFL. But it can happen. And if there's any team it can happen to, it's Chicago Bears. They got 5 years to get this together. Bang, I'm gonna give you the floor. What's your thoughts?
Hey, Nikhil, put that graphic back up. I had to take a phone call. Very important phone call, might I add. But put that graphic back up, that tweet. All right. So when I read this, first of all, just break this down a little bit piece by piece. I read this and I was like, damn, they gave Flus 5, Poles 4. That's wild. I forgot that they did sign Pace to an extension before they got Nagy. And Poles ain't been extended yet. So in reading that from John's tweet, if the Bears lose 11 straight, why are you bringing back Poles? Knowing this. This right here, to me, is somebody telling you what the play is going to be at the end of the season. They're giving you the play before it actually happens. To me, all this says is Ryan Poles is not going to be here. And here's also why I think Poles is not going to be here. Because Mikey, Scott, y'all both said it. If I am a coach that wants a job, there's only 32 of these joints. So somebody going to want a job. But the right person is not going to want a job if this is what they're coming into.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for cleaning up the salary cap. Have a nice day. Same thing that they did to Justin. Hey, man, we love you. We ain't necessarily want to leave you, let you go, but the way that contracts are set up, we're going to have to pay you. Have a nice day. Flus, hey, man, you knew what it was. You got to go. Somebody else is going to have this job. Now, let's just say Ben Johnson. Let's just say it. A hot name that's been out there as far as GMs is Ray Agnew. For those who might not know, Ray Agnew was a former defensive tackle. I remember Ray Agnew when he played for the Patriots and the St. Louis Rams. He also worked for the Rams organization. He was there when Brad Holmes, the GM of Detroit, was there, and he brought him over as the assistant general manager. He brought Agnew over. I don't know about the relationship that Ben Johnson currently has with Ray Agnew. But if Ray Agnew is a potential GM candidate and the head coach, well, the OC is a potential head coach candidate, I could see, and you want him, I could see a world where Ray Agnew and Ben Johnson is a package deal. Long in that package deal, you damage the Detroit Lions because you take a GM and you take their OC away from them. I can see that world. But when I look at that tweet, that just lets me know that somebody said, yo, Poles is really out of here.
Yeah, that's a good point. And I'll say
and just looking at that tweet right there, just look at that top line. How does that make sense? How does that make sense?
Yeah.
That leads to the dysfunction that we talk of at the top that goes above Ryan Poles. And this obviously, this precedes, Kevin Warren. You guys, for those that are watching, I want to remind y'all and refresh y'all on who made this decision and who interviewed these candidates. George McCaskey and Ted Phillips, with the help of paying Bill Polian. So George McCaskey and Ted Phillips said, hey, we're going to go ahead and sign Ryan Poles to a 4-year deal. And 2 days later, Matt Eberflus gets a 5-year deal with the same agent. How does that make sense? Everybody's incompetent.
And here's the thing, too. Like, you put together a coalition of niggas who's like 30 when Dr. King got shot. Like, what are we doing? Like, and that's the issue I have. And Mikey, I'm with you, bro. Like, I'm with both of y'all. Like, if I was a betting man, which I'm not, and like Mikey says, I need to start actually betting when I make predictions like this. But I'm leaning right now that he's not coming back. And Mike, you said it correctly. It would look bad. That's why I also think it's gonna happen, because the Bears are stupid. It is gonna make them look bad. But it just, when Johns put stuff out there, he's one of the few Bears reporters. When they put some smoke, when there's some smoke out there, there's some fire around. You know, not to say everybody on the Bears beat does a good job. So I'm not saying that some don't know what they're talking about. So everybody on the Bears beat does a good job. But my ears really, really perk up when two people talk. Brad Biggs and Adam Johns. So, you know, when them two talk, that's when my ears really, really perk up. So to me, that tells me that if this keeps going, I think the funny thing is, I believe Thomas Brown got Ryan Poles' job in his hand. Yeah, this is really going to determine, these next 4 games going to determine whether he's here or not. And if, let's say, Ben Johnson sits down, right? Because like I said, I think that's their favorite. I think the interest is mutual. Tom Pelissero and Albert Breer keep bringing up about how much Ben Johnson likes it. And even Adam Schefter said, I don't know if it was on McAfee today, he said, if the situation is right. They keep talking about situation. I believe that if Ben Johnson comes to Kevin Warren, like, I love everything here, I love what y'all trying to do, but I need my own GM, so I make sure I'm on the right path. I don't believe that Kevin Warren's going to allow that to be the reason he doesn't get Ben Johnson. That's what I think is going to happen. Mike,
I don't even think it's going to get to that point. Here's the thing. I don't think it's going to get to that point. We've already fired the head coach. Nigga, Black Monday, Poles is gone. If you read that, Poles is gone. He's going to be he's going to have an 11-game losing streak.
Yeah.
There's no way after reading that Poles is coming back.
If they do, it's insane.
Right. It will be malpractice at this point. And when you look at what his job is, what his former position was, and what's the weakness, it's no way. And here's why I'll push back on the Caleb thing. If this was Justin, if this was Justin, or if this was another, if it was not the number 1 pick in the draft, then I'll feel how y'all feel. Like, it'd be difficult, it'd be hard. There's not one person, I think, in the NFL in front offices that believe that Caleb is going to be a bust. There's not one. Like, you have some GMs like, Justin, I get it. Let's say, for instance, if this was the Rex Grossman era, like, he ain't no starter, fam. We're going to have to clean that shit up. Jay Cutler. Some people's like, oh, no, we get stuff out of him. Other people like, I don't know. There's not a general manager or a head coach in the NFL that don't believe that Caleb is the one.
Right.
I'll go back to the Indianapolis Colts. Jim Moore got his ass up out of there. Tony Dungy came in. Boom. That's what they see here. They see a potential Indianapolis Colts type situation where they come in and they reap the benefits, because then now they get to turn around the number 1 pick in the NFL draft.
And I'll do you one
don't
sooner.
Need to be turned around, really.
And I'll do you one sooner and more recently, Bang. Kyle Shanahan. Kyle Shanahan spoke on Caleb Williams this weekend longer than it needed to be, and basically said he's everything that you want in a quarterback. He's playing together, can make all the throws, fantastic, everything. And it wasn't just coach speak. This is, when an offensive mind speaks like that of an offensive player and a quarterback, you listen. 100% they believe in him. And, for me, I have 2 candidates that are 1A and 1B for me, and it's going to be Ben Johnson and it's going to be Mike Vrabel for 2 different reasons. But with Ben Johnson, I think he wants to ensure that everything at home, with the Chicago Bears is right. Because let's be honest, a lot of people on Twitter and, short-sightedness and Bears fans just being purely, moronic. People talk about, Matt Nagy, Ben Johnson. They do not compare. Ben Johnson is running his offense. This is his scheme. This is his shit. Matt Nagy was running Andy Reid shit. Ben Johnson has done, like, when I look at offensive coordinator, first-time offensive coordinator taking the jump to be a first-time head coach, I need success, right? I'm looking at the resume. I can only look at, how is that offense looking, right? Some people just look at it like, oh, yeah, I remember that offense. They're putting up a lot of points. Or, oh, yeah, they made a deep run. I'm looking deeper than that. I'm looking at, wait, hold up. Amon-Ra was first-team all-pro wide receiver last year. Ridiculous stats. Look him up. Jared Goff, who, the Los Angeles Rams basically said, we can't win with you after getting, to the Super Bowl. And he had gave up on him, and he had some big, statistical seasons with them, but they just said, no, we can't do it. He's turned Jared Goff into one of the most accurate, reliable quarterbacks. Look at what he's doing with David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs. Look at what he's doing with guys like Khalif Raymond, with Tim Patrick. That is a guy that, hey, this is my scheme.
Getting busy, bro.
Getting busy on my dime, because I be having Amon-Ra for touchdowns and Tim Patrick be going off. But I say that to say this. Sean McVay drafted Jared Goff. Sean McVay got Jared Goff to a certain level. I think Ben Johnson would take on that challenge and wants to say, hey, I got my hands on Caleb Williams from the ground floor, and I want to develop him and have that ascension from ground floor sophomore season quarterback to top 5.
Let me answer M's question real quick.
Well, I just want to say that's what Mikey's point is. Like, yeah, they have good talent, but he's molding them. Like, the Bears have talent. The Bears
I'm gonna go further. I'm gonna go further. Brad Holmes brought in most of that talent.
Yeah.
Who's the assistant general manager? Ray Agnew. Brad Holmes was like, yo, this is what we doing, and basically was like, yo, Rams, give me the shit. Ray Agnew was right there. And Ben Johnson took it, molded it, and made it. That's why I keep saying I would not be surprised if this is some type of package deal. And I might be wrong. Ben Johnson might have another relationship with somebody in another front office somewhere else. He might do. But when you look at the Detroit Lions and the setup, and them knowing what the play looks like, that's helped them. But then also look at the Bears' talent. The Bears suck in the trenches. If you got you a top 5 pick, top 10 pick, you're going to get better in the trenches. You keep that Carolina pick, you're going to get better in the trenches.
What'd you say, Bang? Yeah. What, you got 9, 35, and 40 right now as far as picks?
Yeah, 9, 35, and 40.
You can build it right there. And this thing, I know we got to move on to the next 2 topics, but you know what song I'm hearing coming out of 1920 Football Drive right now?
What's that?
Rains of Castamere. I hear the red wet, nigga. That's right. What I hear right now. The McCaskies send their regards. Is what they gonna tell Ryan.
Kevin Warren is Bruce Bolton right now, and Ryan Poles is old lady Stark. He giving him that look like she gonna pull it up, and he got the sheer right there, the protective guard under the but
the protective bunk suit.
Right.
The protective bunk suit.
No, but and then just to quickly before we move on, just to speak on the Mike Vrabel point. Just why he's my other candidate for that is just he's got a winning record. He has a track record of success. He's won as a player. He's gotten to an AFC championship game as a head coach. I think with him, I always like seeing – it's always interesting to see how failed and I guess you could say he's a failed first-time head coach, but not really because he did have success. But seeing
He went
how
to an AFC Championship game.
AFC Championship game, right? That's what I'm saying. And he had a winning record. He was there for 6 seasons. I think they were good for 4 of them, 3 to 4 of them, and then Tannehill, leave it as you may. Alex said he's picked good OCs with LaFleur and Arthur Smith. The funny thing with that is I remember I was clowning LaFleur for the hire because if you go back and look at that season, they were like the 22nd offense. It wasn't like LaFleur was lighting them up when he left to get another job. But I say that to say this, and good shit, you brought up LaFleur. What does a Mike Vrabel head coach for the Chicago Bears look like with Mike LaFleur as the OC for the Chicago Bears? He is currently with the Los Angeles Rams, OC for them. You'd obviously have to give him some type of assistant head coach, whatever, but you get Mike Vrabel's defense and his leadership brought over with that Shanahan McVay offense where you can go 11, 12 personnel, and you can go ahead and maybe Mike LaFleur could go ahead and, we're looking at maybe getting a job in 2027 as a head coach. So I kind of like that pairing with somebody right now with the Rams who's cooking and has experience, as a play caller. Because the issue with Ben Johnson is, and kind of like how Banks said, who is his people? Who are his people throughout the league? Who is his GM? Who is coming in as his OC, DC? It would be so Bears to be like, hey, we want you to come, but you got to keep Thomas Brown. Or, hey, we want you to come, but you got to go get Robert Saleh. Like, these aren't my people. So there's always that risk of with the younger guys, it's like, we're going to basically repeat the Flus process because Flus came in with all first time everything. And that's probably what's going to happen with Ben Johnson. And it's going to require some patience and there's going to be a level of uncertainty. Whereas Mike Vrabel comes in with the cachet, comes in with his 3 Super Bowl rings, comes in with, a over 500 record as a head coach. And he's probably going to bring some veteran, coordinators with him.
And yeah, just don't do what the Bulls did almost 15 years ago when Wade and Bron both said we gonna come, and all the niggas had to do was offload Luadang, and they couldn't offload Luadang. I'd have sold that nigga for whatever. Forget what trade I'm getting back, nigga. I just got a prime LeBron James.
Hey, that's nasty. Scott, that's nasty,
bro. When D Wade
no,
said
wait a minute,
that story,
Scott, that's nasty.
What'd I say?
You said you would have sold to Africa. Wow,
I would have sold him as a player. And when D Wade told that story on whatever podcast, I feel like dirt. I fell down to my knees and I'm like, okay, so don't do that. All right, but we'll take these last 2 minutes before we go to hour 2, man. Want to play a quick game of stay or go because my brother asked me this question on 7 Night the Hatters last night, and I wanted to ask you guys. He asked me if I can only keep a certain amount of players on each side of the ball, on offense, defense, and special teams, who would you pick if you were the general manager? So I said, if the general manager was Scott Lewis, on special teams, I'm keeping one nigga, Torrey Taylor. On offense, I'm keeping, obviously, Caleb Williams. I'm keeping Rome Odunze. I'm keeping DJ Moore. I'm actually going to keep DeAndre Swift. And then I would probably, and I'll keep Darnell Wright. I think he's had a rough year, but I would still keep Darnell Wright. That's who I would keep offensively. On defense, I'm keeping Montez Sweat. I'm keeping Jalen Johnson. I'm keeping Kyler Gordon. Yeah. And that's about it. That's who I'm keeping defensively. So I'm going to go to Bang first. General manager J.R. Bang. What players you keeping on all 3 phases of the ball?
I'm keeping everybody you named.
Okay.
The only person I'm adding is TJ Edwards.
Yep.
That's the only person I'm adding.
And everybody.
Dervon is a good glue guy. I don't think he's anything special. Yeah.
But he's young, and you need backup pieces. You need rotational people.
Yeah, you know what? And I've been hoping for the best for this man all season long. I think he got 4 sacks. Ran into a little situation where he hurt his leg during the game. I'll add him and TJ Edwards to the list. Those are the people that I'm keeping. along with everybody that you named. Those are the only two names.
Oh yeah, Nikhil, you got Billings. I'm keeping Billings too. I forgot about
Nah,
that.
I'm straight. I could go.
You straight on Billings? Okay.
I mean, he on contract. He on contract. But I mean, is this just y'all keeping it, or you looking at like?
Now I'm saying we can look for other people, but I would keep
Okay.
him. Yeah.
I'm straight.
Yeah, I keep him.
I ain't got to. I could go find me another one.
Mikey, what's yours? Same thing as ours, or?
Oh, I'm not trying to go and find 30 something new players, you know. So I think regardless, you need depth. But Caleb, Rome, DJ Darnell, DeAndre Swift could get up out of here. Also, Ben Johnson was the coordinator there. They made the decision to go ahead and move on, sign Demo, and draft Jahmyr Gibbs. That means DeAndre Swift is probably out, you know. Like, so let's be real. Gordon, Jalen, Sweat, Dexter, Edwards, Billings, special teams, Torrey, and I will keep DeAndre Carter. Outside of that, yeah, that is your team with a lot of misses. Jaquan Brisker, love the way
can't stay healthy. Yeah.
He can't stay healthy, and then it also just comes to a point where, do I want to be responsible for that young man ending his career on the field in my uniform? Yeah. You know, like at some point, you know, I don't want to be insensitive to it, but he just can't stay on the field. You're looking at somebody has 4 concussions. This last concussion, he's been out for. He's been
the Carolina. This is the Rams game or the Carolina game.
I was rocking shorts and Yeezy slides the last time outside when, you know,
I get to touch down on London soil last time we played.
So not even, that was before.
That's before.
Yeah, that was before. That was September. So
or the first week had a good campaign last time that nigga played.
I don't know about that, but what is it? Yeah, you know, yeah, like so. And then you have what, 82 million. And I believe that's what it's at, 92 million in cap space. You got a couple picks.
I think it's 82. I thought it was 64 or something like that.
Yeah, 82 and a couple picks. So that's it. You know, that it's. And the cover's pretty bare. Where are your all pro guys? Where are your Pro Bowl guys? We don't have a Pro Bowl guy on this roster now. Yeah. So like, and I think, you know, kind of like just to circle back on just yesterday's game, Bang, you hit it on the head when you said they were just more talented than us, and that's that they were missing all pro players. So there's a clear talent discrepancy and a coaching discrepancy. They have their work cut out for them. And that's why I think Kevin Warren, you know, Brad Biggs did say today, Ryan Poles is running point, but Kevin Warren is leading the charge for the head coaching search. And it's all systems a go for Warren. So what does that mean? Is that Ryan Poles coming over with a binder and like, here are the names, and Kevin Warren is going to decide? Yeah. But the way he said it, Kevin Warren did say Ryan Poles is leading point, but Kevin Warren is leading the charge. So it's going to be interesting. And I know a lot of people don't like Kevin Warren for a lot of different reasons. Some reasons I don't understand, but let's just be real. This is a football guy. This is a guy that's been in the NFL since me and you, Scott, were like fucking 4 years old. Yeah, nigga, so it's not like he don't. It's not like he doesn't know what he's doing. So we'll see.
Final question here on the local hour, and we're going to move on and talk about everything else going on in the NFL. It's a question I saw on Twitter. Somebody said that the Bears are several years away from relevancy. Now, I'm a firm believer. I don't believe in rebuilds in the NFL. I might be alone on that. I believe there's such thing as retool because I believe the NFL is too much of a year-to-year league for a traditional retool. Rebuild. Like, so yes, I guess like by NFL standard, maybe a rebuild is a 2, maybe 3 years, but I think that's a retool. With the NBA, it takes a long time. Major League Baseball takes even longer. Hockey takes long. I think that you can become a really good team compared to where you were the year before. So I personally think that they're not that far away from relevancy if you get the right people. Now, do I have any faith in them getting the right people? No. But I don't think that this is just some another 3 to 4 year project, just in my opinion. I think you just got to nail the coach. I think you got to get the right picks and right players in here, not just for on the field, but we're starting to learn in the locker room is right as well. The right culture. What's your culture? You know, somebody asks you, I've been in brand meetings. What does your brand stand for? What does your brand represent? What is the culture of this team? If you get the right culture, guys, the right coach who can lead the culture, you're not that far off. Yeah, I know moral victories don't matter. I understand all that. The Bears have not beaten anybody in the division. I get that. But they were in these games, which makes me think that they're not that far away. Just quickly, we're not going to spend too much time on this. Bang, how far do you think the Bears are from relevancy? And then, Mike, you go after them.
I don't think the Bears are far at all. I say 2 years tops. You got a quarterback that has the potential to be a top 5 quarterback. I think you just need a different voice in that locker room. So I think at the longest they're 2 years off.
I think they could be a playoff team next year with the right coach and the right, adjustments. I don't think they're that far off from relevancy. I just think that this is a very harsh wake up call and reminder that it's not working and things need to change.
Definitely, man. So that concludes the local hour for today.
That was the local hour.
Yes, that was the local hour. We're going to take a quick 1-minute break on the other side in hour 2. We're going to recap everything going on in the NFL week 14. I don't have an overreaction Monday because I really don't have nothing to overreact on this week. We're going to recap what stuff happened this week. And we'll name who are sleeper teams that can knock out some of the favorites in the NFC and the AFC. So we'll be right back in 1 minute.
So cool.
Triple double hat trick, I know the code too. Ice trade, go for trade, yeah we cold too. Getting paper on display, haters old news. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not.
By the way, man, get you a hoodie, bro. Buy you a hoodie on bcnetshop.com. Buy you a hoodie, bro. It's cold as hell outside in majority of America. Go get your hoodie, bro. We appreciate you. But anyway, we are here recapping week 14, hour 2 of I'm Not Gonna Hold You. Courtney will be joining us later on in hour 3. Pavy will be joining us in hour 3. For you hoop heads out there, we got some NBA talking about what's going to happen this week in the NBA Cup. But yeah, let's start off. I'm going to start off with my, I don't call it a rant, but I'm going to tell y'all something I've been saying on this show for weeks. Something I said on Twitter almost 2 weeks ago when this team, the 2-time defending Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs, barely beat the Las Vegas Raiders. Now everybody, especially my brother, saying they can't get away with this. And I said, look, man, the team practiced devil magic. Patrick Mahomes worships Satan. There's something going on over there that I just can't turn away from this team. I can't get off the bandwagon. Like I said on Friday, the Detroit Lions have everything they need to win the Super Bowl. By the way, shout out our guy, friend of the program, Chuck English, one half of the cool kids. Just talked to him today. He's going to be our Lions playoff correspondent when the playoffs start. Join us every Monday during the Lions playoff run. That should be entertaining. But the Lions have everything they need to win the Super Bowl. They've got the offensive coordinator. They got the coach. They got the quarterback. They got the skilled players. They got the home field advantage 9 times out of 10. And they're going to have the road to the Super Bowl is going to have to roll through Ford Field in downtown Detroit. They got it all. But one thing they ain't got is number 15, Mr. Patrick Mahomes. I understand everything everybody's saying from a football perspective. This team has been getting away with murder every week. They double doinked a game winner last night to win 19-17, to win their 9th straight NFC West championship. The Bears have won a division like 3 times in the last 20 years. 9 straight. I remember when the niggas couldn't win a playoff game. They won 9 straight. And they have that feel that no matter the obstacle, they can win. This has been You said, yeah, exactly. Joseph in the chat. With a third string kicker. With a third string kicker. This has been Patrick Mahomes' worst year of his career by far. Travis Kelce, the only time I've seen Travis Kelce has been on his podcast and at Taylor Swift concert dates. That's all I've seen that nigga at. You got a rejuvenated DeAndre Hopkins. You've got probably the second and number 3rd best coach in NFL history in Andy Reid. And most importantly, you're going to have to roll through Arrowhead. What did Michael Jordan say in 1998 when everybody was coming for them? He said, I don't care what happens. Utah, Miami, Indiana, you still got to come through Chicago. You still got to come through Arrowhead, bro. I don't care what the stats tell me. Every football reason you're throwing me, you are right. You are right. Any football stage, though, this team has done this. They going to run through. I get that. But you still got to beat this man. And until I see it happen, I'm not going to be the nigga that's going to pick against it. I don't care. They might lose to the Buffalo Bills. They might lose to Baltimore finally. They might get knocked out by Pittsburgh. We're going to talk about Pittsburgh in a minute. But I can't see nobody rolling in the Arrowhead and beating this man. I just can't see it. That's why I personally can't get off the bandwagon. That's all I personally have to say about that. So let's move on to our next topic, and that is the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Pittsburgh Steelers right now, they had another blowout dub yesterday at the crib against the Cleveland Browns, who beat them in the nice snow game they had a couple weeks ago on Thursday Night Football. What a blowout win, but they won 27-14. Russell Wilson had another great game, 2 touchdowns, 158-yard passing. And they did this without George Pickens. He not played. Defense was great. They are currently right now with the playoffs started today. They are the 3rd seed in the NFC, in the AFC, and they're actually tied with the Buffalo Bills. So they got a chance to be the number 2 seed. And I think that everything you're seeing with this team, I love the way I've seen it on Hard Knocks last week. Really interested to continue to see seeing it after that. It's Mike Tomlin, man. I understand my man ain't won a playoff game in like 8 years. I get that. But he has said something that he has not had since Bathroom Ben, and that is a quarterback. Russ is out there making the plays that needs to be made. Russ is out there making the offense flow, and it's just making that defense even better because now they know they can put up points. And I think they can go as far as they possibly want. This is the first time in a long time that I feel like the Steelers can actually make some noise. I'm really, really interested to see on Christmas in about 2 weeks when they head to Arrowhead to take on the Chiefs. That's going to be a good matchup. I think they have everything they need finally. And we're going to get the sleepers in a minute. They might be my sleeper if they stay at 3rd, but I really like my sleeping them. Bang, how far can the Pittsburgh Steelers go in your opinion?
How far can they go?
Yeah.
The Super Bowl. Hey, I was skeptical about Russ. I think we was all on this show talking about how Russ was washed. I watched that game the other day. Hey, man, I just think Sean Payton just didn't like this black man or something. I don't know. But, man, Russ on that team with the right coach. First of all, man, I also feel sorry for Justin Fields because Justin Fields is going to fuck around and be the quarterback for the goddamn New York Jets or some shit. Like, we're going to have to find a place for him. But Russ, that running game, the wide receiver core that they have, the offensive line is playing very good, and that defense that they have, I think the Pittsburgh Steelers are a sleeper pick to go to the Super Bowl.
Mikey, what do you like from the Pittsburgh Steelers, and how far do you think they can go? Do you think they're still ceiling for this team?
Let me see, man. How do I feel about the Steelers? Let me show y'all something right quick. I text my cousin George today at 10:19. How we feeling about sprinkling on, I won't say the NFC team, and the Steelers to make a run and win the conference? We threw down a little $50 parlay. It wins $11,700 today. But the Steelers are my pick to come out of the AFC. Just because this defense is nasty, it's clicking. They have the head coach, and then when it comes down to Russell Wilson and that offense, they're just finding a way. Arthur Smith is using Najee Harris, Jalen Warren using that two-headed back. George Pickens, it does worry me. It did come out today that he has a grade 2 hamstring injury, so I don't know if that's something that sidelines him for the rest of this month. But I would assume he's gonna miss some games here. But they have enough to lean on their running game. Go ahead and Mike Williams to get some receptions. Pat Freiermuth. I just think they have enough to really make it difficult on teams, and nobody wants to go to Heinz Field. I think it's a different name now, but nobody wants to see them terrible.
It is different. I don't know the name of it.
But nobody wants to see them terrible towels waving like P.D. Pablo videos. So
go back old school, Three Rivers Stadium in this month.
Three Rivers, right? So I'm a big fan of them. I think they're playing the right way. Now they do have a little bit of a murderer's row coming up. They got the Eagles this week, which is going to be good to watch. Bears play on Monday night, so it's going to be good to lock in on some of these other games. And we do got some good games coming up this week. But we got the Eagles and Steelers, and I believe that's a road game for the Steelers. We got the Chiefs, we got the Ravens, and then you got the Bengals. So they got some divisional games coming up, and then they got 2 games, one against their peers and the Chiefs, and then the Eagles, one of the top 2-3 teams in the NFC. So if they can go ahead and get through this and make it into the playoffs, I think that they're going to be dangerous because defense travels, the running game travels, and Russ has been there before.
Yeah, you're right. Defense does travel, and I think this is the offense being able to put a point makes the defense even more deadly. TJ Watt, and I've said this many, many times, JJ Watt was great, but he ain't got nothing on his brother. I'm sorry. Dude, TJ is another monster, and if they can get that second seed, which means everybody got to come to Pittsburgh unless they actually got to play Kansas City. That's going to be a big thing to have in their back pocket. And Mike Tom. Mike Tom's a competitor. He hears the noise of people saying he ain't won a playoff game in so long. He wants to go out there and make some noise as well. So I think the sky is the limit for this Steelers team, man. I'm going to go to something else that happened this week. That is what happened with my man's Saquon Barkley. Saquon Barkley set the Eagles record for the most 100-yard rushing games by a quarterback, by a running back this year. And he's on a pace right now to break Eric Dickerson's single season rushing running record. Now, granted, Eric Dickerson did this in 16 games, so it's a little less than Saquon if Saquon does do it. His record is 2,105 yards rushing, and right now Saquon is currently at 1,623 yards rushing. So he probably have to get by another 500 yards to break this. He's got 4 more games to do so. I think he got a shot. I think he's got a real good shot. I think the thing that's funny to me, Jalen Hurts under surveillance. Eagles fans, I saw a video today with them saying that we should have blown them out. We should have blew the Panthers out. Jalen Hurts, to me, is the reason why I won't pick them over Detroit, because I think Detroit's going to make it to the point where he's going to have to beat him with his arm. Not that he can't. I just haven't seen him do it consistently. But Saquon Barkley is going to continue to get the carries that he's been getting. They've been giving him old school carry numbers, almost 20 carries a game that he's been getting for this season. And if that keeps up, I think he can break the record over these next 5 games. Now, might be a little asterisk to it because it takes him a game longer, but it's still very impressive in today's era where running back isn't appreciated the way it's really appreciated. I know we all make jokes about the Giants. I think that he could have put these numbers on the Giants, but the Giants are such a bad team. It's not like they're going to be that much different of a team with Saquon Barkley. But we see this has been an amazing signing for, the Eagles. And I still think he should be an MVP race. I think that even though they lost last night, I think Josh Allen sealed it yesterday. 6 touchdowns is nuts. But I still think that there's a path. There should be a path for him to get it. But if not, worst case scenario, I do think he breaks this record. Bang, what do you think about his chances to be up there with Eric Dickerson?
Oh yeah, he has a great chance of breaking this record. If you look at the defensive rankings, rushing defense, the Cowboys is ranked 31st, second to last in the NFL in rushing defense. They play them. If you look at the Commanders, the Commanders are 27th in rushing defense. They still got to play them. The Giants is 29th in rushing defense. The Eagles still got to play them. The only team that they're playing that is ranking decent in rushing defense is the it's the Steelers. The Steelers are ranked 4th. But after that, you're playing against the teams that are in the bottom 5 of rushing defense in the NFL. And one of them just so happens to be your former team. And when do you play that team? You play that team in the last game of the season. I don't even think it's going to get to that point because I think the Cowboys is going to let that man run all over them. But don't happen. Imagine how Jim Mara, how the Mara family is going to feel when he break that record going up against them, and they ain't even want him to go in the first place. He has a great chance of getting that record one game later than Eric Dickerson. But here's what I like about OG Eric Dickerson. He ain't around here talking about some, well, if you break my record, you got to do it
one more game. Right, exactly.
You got to do it in 7 games. No, Eric Dickerson has said, look, records are made to be broken, and I want you to break my record. So he going to break that record, and he going to break it against the Giants. And it's going to be very embarrassing for the Giants as they lock up the 2nd seed in the NFL draft.
You think they're going to get the 2nd? You don't think Giants going to get the 1st?
No, the Raiders going to get that shit. The Raiders currently got it. I think the Raiders currently got it right now.
The Raiders got it right now? I thought it was the Giants got it right now.
When the one I saw this morning, they got the Raiders at number 1. And if the Raiders at number 1,
they taking Shador.
Yeah, they're taking Shador. So
100%.
Yeah, they're going to suck. They're going to be poor for Shador.
Poor for Shador. We already saw. You saw what Dion told Antonio Pierce?
Yep. Poor for Shador.
Okay, Nikhil confirmed the Raiders got it right now. And by the way, Antonio Pierce might not be there to have Shador. But yeah, man. Let's go to my next topic on the rundown for what's going on week 14, man. I'm buying some Rams stock. I'm buying some Rams stock right now. Rams big win last night, 44-42 over the Buffalo Bills. A real shootout game in SoFi Stadium. Right now, they're still trying to get this division. As it stands right now, they're like a game behind Seattle. I think Seattle's been playing some real good ball, and I do think that Seattle can hold on to that spot. There's a big game coming up where they're going to actually end the game in the season against the Seahawks. They got a big game this Thursday against the Niners. But if you look at the other teams, I'm looking at the standings right now. If the playoffs started, the Washington Commanders will be the 7th and final seed. They have a 1-game lead over the Los Angeles Rams. The Rams finished their season with the Niners this week on the road. They go on the road to play the Jets the week after that, come home to play the Cardinals, and then close out against the Seahawks. Now, if you look at the Washington Commanders, the Commanders schedule, they got the Saints this week in New Orleans. They got the Eagles the week after that in Washington. They got the Falcons in Washington, and they close against the Cowboys. Now, these are winnable games for the Commanders. I would say the Rams have a tougher road than the Commanders, but I just don't like the way the Commanders have played since the Hail Mary. I think I saw a stat that I think the Commanders only won like one more game. The Bears won none, but they've only won one more game since the Hail Mary. I'm buying stock for the Rams to get that final wild card spot. I like their chances. I think they've got the better quarterback right now. Better coach. What Puka Nacua is doing is insanity. Jared Verse having a great season. I like my chance here with the Rams stealing that number 7 seed from the Washington Commanders in the playoffs. I'm gonna go to Mikey, man. Are you buying Ram stock, or do you think that the Commanders got enough to hold on to the fort?
That is the second team that I was talking about when I said how we feel about sprinkling on the Rams to make a run. Matthew Stafford is a beast. Puka and Cooper Cup, amazing. Kyron Williams is a touchdown every week. I believe Tyler Higbee is coming back, maybe this week or next week, tight end for them. They probably got the defensive rookie of the year in Jared Verse. I like them. I like them, man. I like them a lot. Their offense is potent. Bears might be in that consideration for the number 1 pick if Puka and Cooper were healthy on that September afternoon.
Man, right,
Because
exactly.
it might be 3 wins instead of 4.
I think about that a lot.
Yeah, so I'm really a big fan of them. Yesterday was a shootout. Sean McVay still showing that he's got as big of nuts paws as Dan Campbell and as anybody, for him going for it late, to go ahead and seal that victory and get that touchdown instead of kicking the field goal and leaving it up to your defense. I think that they match up well. This Thursday night, we've been blessed with banger
Thursday night
after
football has been
banger.
great this year.
Thursday night football has been better than Monday night and Sunday night football all season. Shout out to them. I guess that's what happens when Bezos, drops that bag. He's like, hold up now. And the way he did it too, because he was like, no, I want Lions Packers on the mini bye after they play on Thanksgiving. So, Niners and Rams this weekend is going to be amazing. I do like Sean McVay's offense to be able to exploit things that the Bears weren't able to do yesterday. So I'm definitely a believer in the Rams. I think they have a great shot, if any. I know you said that the Commanders are the last team right now, right? So
yeah, Commanders are the 7th seed.
So they would be playing who if they got in the last seed?
If they got the last seed, they'd be playing Seattle, wouldn't it?
What? Yeah, 3 versus 7.
Yeah.
Isn't there only one bye?
No,
right?
You're right. They be playing Philly.
Okay,
yeah.
And I don't think that's not a winnable game for them.
Philly. Yeah, they can beat Philly. Yeah,
100%. So I like their chances, and we'll see. Jaden Daniels is still a rookie quarterback, and they're dealing with kind of those Cliff Kingsbury woes and some injuries on that side. So let's see what happens. But I definitely like the Rams. They have all of the pedigree to make a run.
And they got the coach, man. I love me some McVay.
Yeah.
Big. And I started off as a McVay hater. I remember back in 2018, I was one of them niggas who said, tell me how Sean McVay is good without mentioning his age. And that shut me up very quickly. But Bang, what's your thoughts on the Rams? Are you buying any Ram stock?
Nah, I ain't buying any Ram. Nah, I'm not buying any Ram stock. I'm looking at the Commanders and saying that they control their own destiny. And they got it. That defense of the Rams is still a pits. It is still hell. On the defensive line outside of Verse, it is terrible. So if that defense was a little bit better, I'd be like, okay, maybe. But that defense is terrible. I have no faith in the Rams getting that last spot.
You mean if they had a certain Hall of Famer?
Yeah.
Who decided to leave this year?
Mm-hmm. The one that was doing drills with knives.
Yo, Aaron Donald is a big
the one that's built like a grenade.
Bro, that's a big nigga, bro. Like that's a big dude. Like I ran him, I saw him like in a Laker game one time. That's a big dude, bro. Like NFL players ain't that big. That's a big dude.
I took care of him at true random fact. I took care of him at Nike. When the Super Bowl was there back in 2020, and I had took care of him about an hour before the news that Kobe died. So we were the only Nike store in the world that didn't close that day. All other Nike stores closed. We were the only Nike store in the world that did not close upon the news that Kobe died, only because it was Super Bowl week in Miami and we had a lot of activations. Jerry Rice pulled up. Josh Allen was there. Aaron Donald was there with his brother, and that man.
I know there had to be a weird vibe at being at the store that day.
Yeah, because it was also like extremely packed. So you got people trying to, you got people trying to work and obviously help, you know, the general public. And also like there's a small team of us that would deal with kind of like the VIP elites, you know, the Aaron Donalds, the athletes, you know, that day, that was the day that weekend was the weekend I had got cool with Kyler Murray's pop. Shout out to OG Murray. But it was definitely surreal because like you got people like you know, receiving the news in real time and you can't get off the sales floor to be on your phone. So it was definitely wild. But yeah, I say all that to say Aaron Donald is built like a fucking mannequin. And Derrick Henry too. And Derrick Henry's so like just swollen wide. He's got to walk through like sideways to fit through a door.
The athletes that I've met who are like, this is a big nigga. It will be Aaron Donald, bro. Giannis's bicep is like bigger than my head. Like it's like Shaq is like Shaq walked past me. I went my first lucky game I went to was Shaq's statue night, and Shaq walked past. I was in the 100 level. Shaq walked past my seat. And it was like I was watching Bigfoot. It was like, and that was the night that I met Gary Payton, and like the Gary Payton, I was such a Gary Payton fan growing up. When I saw this nigga walking through the Staples Center hallway, double cupped, I was like, this is the only way to me get to see Gary Payton.
Yeah,
right.
That's the only way to see Gary Payton. So I him, and then Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, like he's not big but tall. Oh, he's the tallest nigga I've ever met in my life. Like,
you know who's the craziest person I've seen that's not like football, basketball, like stature wise? Matt Holliday is a fucking brick house. I saw him one time downtown, and I was like, "What the fuck is that?" His head is like this fucking big too. I'm like, "Oh." I'm like, what the fuck type of? That's a different batch of steroids.
Right. LeBron a big nigga too, though. LeBron a big nigga. LeBron a big dude too. But anyway, last topic. Pavy be here in about 5 minutes. We're gonna talk some NBA. Last topic. I want to talk about NFL sleepers. You know, we talk about favorites to win a Super Bowl. Obviously Detroit. Obviously Kansas City. Obviously the Philadelphia Eagles, and then right now I'd say the Buffalo Bills. So I want to know, give me 2 teams in each conference that you can believe that what did Kendrick say? It's time to shut the party down. That can shut the contending party down in the NFC and the AFC. I'll go first. As it's set right now, I do believe they had a good chance to finish with the number 2 seed, and they won't be in this conversation. But Buffalo's going to Detroit this week. I believe there's a good chance that Buffalo might be going to the 3 seed. But as it stands right now, I give Pittsburgh, and I know these niggas lost last night, I'm still giving the Chargers a shot to ruin somebody's playoffs. You give me Jay Herbo without an idiot, Jay Herbo with Harbaugh, and let's be clear, Herbo is throwing, outside of Ladd McConkey, is throwing to nobody. You know what I'm saying? And to have that
Ladarius
McConkey, yeah. Outside of throwing to Ladarius, he's throwing to nobody. I like the chance, and then we just gave Pittsburgh all the flowers. That's why I'm gonna go in the AFC. The NFC is a little tougher because I really believe it's the JV league after the first 2. But I'm gonna say this, and I hate. I'm mad that I'm gonna say this. I hate this team more than the devil themselves. I'm going with the Green Bay Packers.
Oh Lord.
I hate to say
bugging. You don't. No, you don't. You don't hate it enough. You said it.
No, I hate to say it. I wanted to say Minnesota, but I believe more. I can't. I'm mad. I'm gonna say this. I believe in Jordan Love more than I believe in Sam Darnold. I think what Sam Darnold's doing right now is amazing. I think Sam Darnold's gonna get paid, but I think that in a playoff situation, LaFleur back there, bro. And I love McConnell, but I had to say the Packers, and then my second team I feel like can ruin the party. My man, the Bake Show. I'm going with Tampa Bay. I think those are 2 teams that could possibly ruin the party. Remember, Tampa Bay gave Detroit a little go in the playoffs last year. Those are 2 teams. I'm going. Bang. Who's your team? 2 teams on each conference.
I'll go with the AFC first. And since Buffalo got the 2nd seed so far, Pittsburgh got the 3rd seed, Houston got the 4th seed, I'll look at Denver. That defense they got is studs. And in Baltimore, it's something about Baltimore when people ain't expecting shit where you get something. It's when they have the expectations thrown on them, they falter. Because of what we have currently going on, I don't think there's no expectations. So Denver and Baltimore on the AFC. The NFC, Minnesota. That's the only team that I look at as what you described. Because that defense, they swarm. Darnold is playing out of his mind. And he's going to get a whole bunch of money next year. And he's still younger than goddamn Joe Burrow. Give me those teams.
Go ahead, Mikey.
Yeah, give me Minnesota. Just the way they're playing, the offensive weapons they have. Obviously, they're going to dial it up on defense. Darnold, 5 TDs, and they were only the 2 people, Jordan Addison and Justin Jefferson. Insane. They're hooping right now. And I think it would be a mistake if the Minnesota Vikings don't re-sign him, to a contract extension. Then we switch over to the other side. You guys already know I said the Steelers, but they are a 3 seed. I'll go a little bit lower. I will go with the Denver Broncos. I would love to go with the Chargers, but I just have zero trust in their skill. Wide receivers outside of Lab McConkey. But the Denver Broncos, tough offensive line, tough defensive line, can run the ball. Bo Nix is playing well. You have a veteran championship, Super Bowl winning head coach in Sean Payton.
Hey, B-Dot, if I'm going to hell, you going to hell with me. I see the comments.
Yeah, but I would ride with the Broncos and the Vikings. If they really want to fuck the party up, it could be them.
And you're right about the Sam Darnold thing. I believe that JJ McCarthy, didn't he get hurt twice? Did he have 2 surgeries?
No, he got hurt once, and then he had kind of like some inflammation, some rubbing, so they went ahead and cleaned it up a second time.
But it's cool because he's still going to be the head coach of Nazareth in 2032. So.
Adam Schefter said on McAfee today that there's no contract talks because the Vikings want to see how the market plays out before they make a decision on Sam Darnold. But
which to me means they would consider keeping him.
Right, exactly. I mean, you got to hooping. If you want any proof that coaching matters, look at Sam Darnold. Like he's going with confidence. Like
he's looking like he's looking like the number 3 pick,
bro.
And I think that's where we get where NFL people, and that's where NFL people fuck up. Yeah. They overcomplicate things. I don't care that you drafted JJ McCarthy. If this guy takes you to the NFC Championship game, or obviously a Super Bowl, or you win a game with him in the playoffs, how do you not run it back with him?
Yeah, and I'll say this too, man. Like, you know how he used to have Eli face? When he said the Jets broke him, he threw that 5th touchdown yesterday, walked off that field like, I'm that nigga. Like, this is my house. You know what I'm saying? Like, so,
hey, can we talk about crazy throws? That Josh Allen touchdown
was ridiculous.
Oh my God, that shit had a he had some throws in that 4th quarter where the ball had a fucking magnet on it.
Yeah.
It was just chest. He's fucking insane.
Yeah, man. We're gonna take a 1-minute break. Bang and Mikey gonna take a 20-minute break. On the other side of things, I got my boy Pavy. We're gonna talk about a little bit of NBA going on, man. It is knockout round week in the NBA Cup. We're gonna talk about that and a whole bunch of other stuff in just one more minute on I'm Not Gonna Hold You.
So cool.
Triple double hat trick, I know the code too. Ice trade, go for trade, yeah we code too. Getting paper on display, haters old news. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to I'm Not Gonna Hold You. This is Block 3 on the show, man. We're gonna pivot a little bit and talk a little bit of NBA, man, here on Weekend in the Association with my boy Pavito. You can follow him at Pavy World on all social media platforms. Visit Pavverbs.com, man. Check out the new tape. Him and my homie T, Swim Team Customs. Check out, man. Let them know where they can get to and everything, brother.
Yeah, man. I mean, yeah, as you said, Pavers.com, and as you said, if you want to go check out the Customs EP, you might be able to do your next European travel guide based off that.
Yeah,
But you can find it basically everywhere on stream and everywhere you want to find music. Yeah, you can find it at. So go check that out.
the niggas rapping in Spanish, ladies and
I did
gentlemen.
rap in Spanish in the song. I did rap in Spanish, and I had actually
Rap
decent
in
Spanish. Like I know some people who speak Spanish. It was like that wasn't bad.
Definitely, man. But we are back. How you feeling, brother? How you feeling on this Monday?
I'm good. I'm doing a little like sober detox thing for like the next. I'm trying to go until Christmas.
I was about to say a detox during the holidays.
I'm trying to go until Christmas.
Okay.
But at least I want to go until next Sunday. But then we'll see how it feels. But I feel great, feel good, chilling. I'm happy to be here.
I'm finna walk into Benny's on Thursday after Bears practice, like Thanos when he arrived on that Asgardian ship. You know, I know how it feels to lose. That's gonna be me walking past the eggnog aisle. But yeah, man, let's get into some NBA, man. The NBA is starting to get towards I guess for the most public, starting to slowly pay attention to phase of the season. The NFL wound down, got a month left in the regular season. The NBA Cup, which I feel it's been good. I was very skeptical about it when it got brought up. Last year was good, and I feel like this year has been good in just the seeding rounds. We're gonna get to the nitty-gritty tomorrow. We got 4 games, 4 knockout games. Really, losers out, winner advance to the next round. The championship game is next Tuesday in Las Vegas. I think it's T-Mobile Arena. I think is where it's gonna be at. When the two teams play for the NBA Cup. And I'm glad they gave it a name because the in-season tournament just sounded terrible. Yeah, the Emirates NBA Cup. So tomorrow it will be games on 2 teams on TNT. The Bucks we take on the Magic. The Magic have been hooping despite the fact they have no Paolo Banchero, and now Franz Wagner is out with the injury.
Franz Wagner.
Franz Wagner, my bad, pronounce his name. Franz Wagner, the nigga who should have been a Bull, but whatever. And then the next one, the close, it will be SGA and the Oklahoma City Thunder West Conference Finals semifinals rematch against Luka Doncic, Kyrie Irving, and the Dallas Mavericks. And then on Wednesday, you got the other 2 games on ESPN and TNT. Knicks be playing the Hawks. Hawks playing some good ball as of late. And the Rockets will be hosting the Golden State Warriors. What's your thoughts on these 4 games? How you feeling going into this knockout round and heading into the championship game next week?
I think it's dope. Also, I think the matchups are dope because I think that I think that now after, the first year of the Cup and everybody kind of understands what's going on, I think you finally get to the point where it's like, I think winning the Cup will become a thing. Like it'll be a thing where it's like, oh, this team dominated so much. They had the best record in the regular season. They won the NBA Cup and they won the championship. Also, I think this is intriguing because, Oklahoma, Dallas, this was the semifinals last year, and you get in like the NBA Cup, and it means something, and you playing for bread, you playing to move on. Also, Golden State Rockets, quiet as it's kept, this could be a playoff series down the stretch. Like this actually could be a playoff series. Even Knicks Hawks, with the way that the Hawks have been playing basketball, that could be every matchup that we see in could be a playoff series. So I'm very excited about it. I mean, do you want me to go into winners right now? Or are we gonna do that in like a second?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Well, tell me what you think about the matchups, and then how you think it's gonna play out.
Like I said, I think the matchups are great. If I'm looking at the Thunder Mavericks game, because again it's a 1-game scenario. I know you have Chet Holmgren that's not there right now. The Mavericks are also playing great basketball. From now second, they won 7 straight games. I would probably go with the Mavericks for that game, just because I think dealing with Kyrie and Luka in a 1-game scenario, like they might go off for like 60 points, and then what are you going to do about it? As far as the Rockets Warriors, I'm gonna go with the Warriors. Draymond's back. I think they're playing good basketball, but I don't think it will come without contest. I think Ime has the Rockets playing really good spirited basketball. Their defense has been better. Şengün, I love watching Şengün hoop, but I'm still going to go with the Warriors. I trust Steph and Draymond in the way that they've been playing basketball when they're both on the court as of late to get that done. As far as Knicks Hawks, I'm going to actually go with the Hawks, man.
Hey, the Hawks been hooping. Hawks been hooping lately.
Like I like what they're finally building around Trae Young, right? I think Trae Young, him being a small guard, 6 feet, he's not the best defender. They finally just put him with a whole bunch of wings and a lob threat and was like, all right, bro, y'all go figure it out. Jalen Johnson is probably a future all-star. He might get all-star votes this year, but Jalen Johnson has been great. Dyson Daniels should be on the all-defensive team. Like the Hawks won the hell out the DeJounte Murray trade, like hands down.
Easily.
They got Dyson Daniels and picks for DeJounte Murray. So I'm at with the Hawks in that, man. The Hawks have been playing really good basketball, and I think that they can continue to make some noise as the season goes. And also in the playoffs, that's a squad that, I mean, we've seen Trae Young's work in the playoffs. I remember, granted, I know, you know, that year that people want to say was fluky, the 2021 season, but he still had to get there. He got to the conference finals. I've seen his work. So I'm going to go with the Hawks in that game. And then the Mavericks, not the Mavericks, but the Magic Bucks game. And it sucks that Paolo and Franz got hurt. So I'm inclined to pick the Bucks, but that don't mean I'm sleeping on the Magic. I mean, even I forgot who they played the other day, and Benghazi had 26 and 10. They still got Anthony Black, who's second year been playing really good. They have Jalen stuff, so they still do have pieces. But I'm inclined to say the Bucks would get that game done, and I would be inclined to say that the matches we would see in the semifinals would be Bucks, Hawks, and Mavericks, Warriors.
So there's a couple of things I wanted to ask you about these teams that's involved. One, I remember when the season first started, you said the Warriors run was cute. Do you still think it's cute, or do you think that there's a path here for them at least to maybe, I know it's wild early, to win a playoff series? What's your vibe on how they are right now?
Oh, for sure. I think that they can win a playoff series, but like when we're talking about the Warriors, are we talking, especially with the team that has this consistent level of like success? They're not the Rockets. Like the Rockets winning a playoff series, that shit's great. Like you have exceeded all expectations. We're talking about the Golden State Warriors and Steph, who, I mean, realistically, what, the man's 36 years old right now?
Yeah.
I mean, he's still playing really good basketball right now, but like how many years do you think that you're going to get this Steph still? But for the Warriors, I think the main thing for them is, you know, showcasing some of the young guys and seeing if you can go out and make a trade maybe to try to win right now. What that deal would be, I don't know. But yeah, I think they could win a playoff series. I think they may be able to even, like, if everything goes completely the utmost best, maybe get to the conference finals depending upon matchup. But I don't think there's any way that they can win a championship this season at all as currently constructed.
What do you think about the Knicks? I feel like number one, Cat is really coming around on Knicks fans.
He's an MVP candidate.
Yeah, a lot of Knicks fans like, he doesn't have that New York. You know how Chicagoans and New Yorkers do. They like the hard hat, lunch pail type players, or he's soft. But I've seen a lot of fans turn around and really appreciate Cat. But this team hasn't had the start that a lot of people thought that they were going to have. You think there's any cause for concern? They've been playing better lately. OG has been playing better. I feel like they're starting to get more of an identity. You think it's just early season yips, or do you think that there's something where this team might not be as good as everybody thought they would be?
I mean, they haven't had to start, but they also haven't had their roster yet. Like, you know, Mitchell Robinson is still hurt. And I think Mitchell Robinson is a huge part of what they do. Rim protector, really good defender. Also, Precious has been out. And you also got to work all these guys in. Mikal Bridges, I don't think he's had the best start to the season so far. But I'm not worried about the Knicks. Like, this is still a team that if I'm in the playoffs, I don't want to play them. So again, like, I'm not the most worried about them currently as it stands. They've had guys out. I mean, you bring in a Cat. I think the main thing for them is seeing how Cat translates. Cat's been playing great. Like, I don't think Cat will win MVP, but Cat would get some MVP votes if the season ended right now. That's how good. Cat is having the best season of his career, and he's had some really good seasons, so that's saying a lot. So no, I don't think there's any real cause for concern. Like I said, they haven't had their full roster. I think that their defense will trend to get better. But the thing about them is, like, when you talk about the Knicks this season, I think you talk about their offense even more than their defense, and you have never, ever, 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 ever in your life said that about a Tibbs team. So I think that's encouraging. As long as their offense is good, and we know historically Tibbs has been a good defensive coach, if I would assume that at some point their defense will start to come along, and if it can match their offense, you got something there.
Definitely agree with that one, man. Let's talk about Mr. LeBron James. The Lakers started real hot to start the season. They are back to being the Lakers that we all know and love. They are a play-in team. The playoffs start today. They are the eighth seed in the NBA at 13-11. LeBron is, I feel like the father time is starting to get some licks on this nigga, like more visible licks. He said he wanted to play all 82 games. I think that's a hilarious thing to want to do at his age. And we hear from JJ Redick's response. I don't think JJ Redick liked that too much. And obviously we saw because he did not play last night. Who they play last night? You were at the game. Who they play last night? Blazers last night. So my question to you, because I'm starting to see even some LeBron fans say this themselves, is LeBron finally falling off? Like, is the age finally creeping in more than it has before?
I mean, yeah, he's been falling off for years, but also his age injury. I mean, like I think the growing injury was the growing injury on Christmas in 2018?
2018. Yeah.
That was the not beginning of the end, because I mean he's played 6 years after that, but there was clear differences from LeBron before that and LeBron after that growing injury. Like, as somebody who's watched probably more LeBron than anybody I've ever seen in my life, any player I've ever watched in my life, like, yes, I think that this year the main thing is just his. Obviously, he's still smart. He's still going to score points. Like, the man has scored 10 points, 1,500 games in a row.
Yeah.
But 10 points is like what? Barely 2 points a quarter.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
you could score 4 points a quarter and get 2 rebounds and assists a quarter and end up with 16, 8, and 8. Like, the man knows how to play the game of basketball. He's smart. He's gonna put up numbers. But the things that you see now is like, I don't think his numbers affect the game the way that they once used to affect the game. Like, him having 25, 8, and 10. It's like, yeah, but what did that 25, 8, and 10 do? Or was it just numbers? So yeah, I think he's, they calling him home. But again, he can still play. Like LeBron's, it's not like he don't look like Timberwolves KG out there. You know what I'm saying? Like, the man can still play basketball.
He definitely don't look like.
Yeah,
he don't look like that. That's bad.
Yeah, he could like still play basketball. But yeah, I have to tell you, like, it was a play early in the year. He drove to the rim and smoked the layup. I'm like, oh my god, bro, this ain't the same. This ain't the same, bro. So yeah, he's falling off. But I think one of the main problems with the Lakers is, number one, LeBron should be taking less money. He's not gonna do it, and I respect him for not doing it.
Yeah.
But you're paying a 40-year-old $50 million, and you're paying Anthony Davis $50 million, but you're paying him production like he's Jason Tatum, and realistically at this point he can't do that. So if he can't do that, everybody's like, oh well, we need a third star. It's like, bro, you paying 2 people $50 million. They supposed to be your second, third, and fourth stars. And when they can't do that, you got, Austin Reeves, but like, how much you really going to depend on Austin Reeves, a D-Lo, or whatever? Like, the combination of guys you have are supposed to be like the streaky guys, and Braun and AD are supposed to be your constants. And when you depend on a 40-year-old to go out there and be a top 10 player every night, I just don't think that's fair. And that's the result that you're going to get from the Lakers. And that's what you're basically seeing this year. Like, he'll give you a game a week, but as far as you want him to do it every night at this age, I just don't think that that's completely realistic.
Definitely, man. We're going in about 5 minutes. We're gonna have the crew coming back. We're gonna talk Juan Soto. Heisman finalist just came out. Streets are saying that Travis Hunter won the Blitnikoff. We're gonna talk about that. Also talk about college football playoffs just a minute. Still got 5 more minutes here. Well, 7 more minutes here with Pavy. Here. Go to beat us. Say Hove news dropping beat up. Okay. And Brian said, okay. All right.
That was funny.
Y'all been wild in the comments. Orlando, we can't put some of Orlando's comments on here no more. Even been tripping. But let's go to a team that were the defending champions last year. It's the Denver Nuggets, man. Nikola Jokic did the most European thing this nigga's ever done to me a couple days ago. He had 56 points against the Washington Wizards, the worst team in basketball. 56 points, 16 rebounds, 8 assists, and them niggas lost. And he went up there and said, where I come from, if we keep playing bad like this, the coach don't get paychecks. He's upset to the point he's even kind of, throwing shade at his own coach, his guy that he loves. Now, this team has been frustrating. I think something that any NBA fan could saw coming when they saw that they let KCP walk, when they let these other glue guys that they've had on their team walk. I don't know who Jamal Murray is anymore. He's not the same guy anymore. That's for sure. They are currently only like a game better than the Lakers. The 12-10 right now, 7th seed in the Western Conference. Pav, what do you think about Jokic's comments?
Before we get to that, Scott, here's what I want you to do. I want you to go find that clip when I was comparing this team to that 2009 Cavs team, and I want you to tell me how crazy it sounds now. Y'all argue me to hell. I want you to tell me how crazy it sounds now. I really want you to go find that clip, put throwback, and repost it, and tell me how crazy it sounds now. Please tell me how crazy it sounds.
I'll repost it today.
I tried to tell y'all this team ain't like, bro, we got to really understand and put in context what Jokic did. Jokic won with one of the worst championship teams in the history of basketball. You realize, like, granted, I think KCP is a really good player. I think he's a starter and will contribute to most basketball teams. But if you lose KCP and the result is this, I don't think that team that good, brother.
Thank you, M in the chat. The championship team he had is not this team.
If you take Jokic off that championship team, they're not a playoff team.
Okay, I agree with that. I actually agree with that. But I still 09. I believe take LeBron off the 09 Cavs. They're a lottery team.
If you're not a playoff team, you're a lottery team.
I don't think. I think if you take that when they win 2023, you take that 2023 Nuggets team.
They're a playing team.
You take it's still a playing team.
If you take Bron off that team, I think they would be a playing team.
No, they're a lottery team.
They're a playing team. Playing team is a lottery team. If you lose,
what I mean by lottery team is they're actually they're one of the worst teams in the league. Is what I
disagree. I think if you take them off that team, they probably win like 32, 34 games, which in the East at that time is getting you in the play-in, by the way.
You know what's funny about the play-in? I was thinking about the other day, like if they had the play-in going on, look, Michael Jordan's Washington Wizards made the play-in.
And might make, yes, exactly. but what I think about Jokic is, I mean, he's frustrated. Like, if I go out there 56, 16-8 and we lose to the fucking Wizards, I'm going to be mad too.
He said Mike Malone shouldn't get a check.
Mike Malone should get a check is crazy. But Michael Porter Jr. was also not balling. Michael Porter Jr. can't put the ball on the fucking floor, and he still can't put the ball on the damn floor. But they just, but again, the problem with the second apron and also with a team like Denver and a market like Denver is you're really counting on internal growth. They haven't had internal growth. Like Jamal Murray, I guess the injuries or whatever, he doesn't look the same. Michael Porter Jr. still hasn't developed to do anything besides shoot the basketball. Christian Braun, although he stepped in and been solid, I don't think he's been like starter shooting guard level.
I'll say I'm gonna answer this. Jokic, I won't say ran through by himself, but look at that Western Conference Final series, bro.
Again,
no, like Jokic has some godlike performances that if don't happen, the Lakers might win it. So
nobody wins the championship by themselves. I'm like, we can go down the line, look at every championship team. They usually got an all-star, all defensive team player. They something. Jokic won with nothing. They had no all-stars, wasn't no sixth man of the year, wasn't no all defensive team players, wasn't even no former ones. Like nobody who even made it. This is the first time Nikola Jokic since this run is playing with somebody who won an award before. Well, DeAndre Jordan did as well, but DeAndre, whatever, he doesn't even really play long basketball on the team. Russell Westbrook is the only person who really plays quality minutes who has won any type of significant award on his team. So this team just has significant problems. And again, like I said, you're counting on internal growth, and it hasn't happened. Najee, the center they drafted, Najee, he's not even playable. Peyton Watson, I don't think he's really improved. Like nobody has really improved the way that you wanted them to improve. And a lot of guys, besides maybe Aaron Gordon, have either really stayed the same or kind of fell off. And this is kind of what you get with the West getting better as well. And this is kind of what you get. So yeah. Jokic was not. Jamal Murray has never been all-star caliber. We have to stop this. Jamal Murray
all-star caliber.
Was he better than CJ McCollum? Has he been better than CJ McCollum?
I believe so. Yes.
Blaze or CJ McCollum?
Yes, I believe.
You believe that?
I've never that high on CJ McCollum.
If you put CJ with Jokic, what you getting?
I don't think you getting Jamal. Jamal in the playoffs is a different beast.
Do we remember CJ McCollum in Game 7 against Jamal Murray when Dame was stinking it up?
Okay, I get that. I just feel whether he's not an all-star cool, but he's all-star caliber. He's all-star caliber.
No, he's not. He wouldn't even make the all-star in the East. And also, I watched the Olympics. I saw Bogdanovich look like a world beater. He can't get off the bench for the Hawks. Bogdanovich was doing a 3 to the head, up 17 to Melo in the Olympics. He can't get off the bench in Atlanta.
Yeah, he really can't. Yeah, he really can't. I forgot about that trade. He is not going off the bench, man. Final topic for you, man. Talk about the team that eliminated the Denver Nuggets last year. That is the Minnesota Timberwolves. Minnesota Timberwolves made it to the Western Conference Finals last year. Lost to Dallas. That was kind of like the breakout party for Anthony Edwards. They played real good ball, but then they made a shocking trade heading into this season. I don't know if it's too shocking because I think we all knew that they're going to have to make some move, especially with potential new ownership coming with Alex Rodriguez and I forgot his partner's name. Which that thing is still being settled. They're still trying to figure out what's going on with that. But got rid of Cat. We just talked about Cat and how well he's been playing in New York. They got Julius Randle. And I actually think Julius Randle's been playing okay. I just don't think it's a good mesh. And also, I feel like maybe we, and I'm included in the we, might have crowned Ant a little bit too early.
Y'all did.
I think Ant does a lot. And I also think Waz commented on this when it talks about how a lot of these players aren't themselves. Ant is himself, but sometimes Ant does a little bit too much. We don't need him cussing every other word in every interview. Like that's got to cut down a little bit. But just how the players, this doesn't feel like a well-crafted team. What do you think about the struggles they've had? Do you think there's a way? Are they going to stay being a playing team, or can they get back to where they were last year?
I mean, it's only been 21 games for one, but if you look at this roster, I mean, this is the thing about the NBA and like windows. It's like you have a pretty veteran team, and you have like a really young player. You look at Mike Conley. How many years you think Mike Conley got left in the league? Like for real, Mike Conley got drafted. Mike Conley got drafted with Greg Oden, bro. Like they win the same draft, bro. Like Mike, I think it was he was in the KD draft.
It was 2007.
Seven. He was in the KD draft. Like Mike Conley probably has 2 years left in the league for real. Like he's 36 years old. So Mike Conley, a year older coming back. Also Rudy Gobert. I don't think Rudy Gobert has been the same that he's been in previous years. And I don't think the defense hasn't been terrible. I don't think the defense has been as good. And I think you miss Cat. Like you had 3 7-footers. You don't have that anymore. Like Julius Randle is just 6'8", 6'9". He hasn't been bad, but Cat's been an MVP candidate. You know what I'm saying? Like, and also the space on the court is different. Julius Randle shooting the ball and Cat shooting the ball. Like when Cat said he was the best 3-point shooting big man, he has an argument. He has a legitimate case. Between him, Dirk, and whoever else you want to put in that group, he genuinely has a case. So, yes, Ant has to take more threes. The lane isn't the same. You know what I'm saying? Randall has to do more to get his offense. You can't really just like Randall isn't can he catch and shoot? Sure, but that's not really his thing. So you have to like just switch the way the team is a little bit with him. And even like a guy like Kyle Anderson, just being able to handle the ball off the bench, like I think they do miss those things. So, can they fix it? I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, man, I really think what you're seeing is like the value of Cat and the fact that they miss Cat right now. And like I said, it maybe even when I said when they make the trade, when they made the trade, I don't know how this could happen because I don't know what you could get for him. But like, I wouldn't be shocked if Randall was a guy that's not on the team at the All-Star break. It's not his fault because I think Randall, hasn't been bad. But at the same time, I think he's been Julius Randle. But I don't think he's been good or bad. He's been Julius Randle, but I don't think that he hasn't been what Cat has been. And I think the team as a whole just misses the extra big body. Because even if you look at the conference finals, Cat was actually the best defender on Jokic. Go back and look at Cat was the best defender. So I do think that you are again, and they were built off their defense. Like their offense was never great. They had the number 1 defense in the league last year. So far this year is 6th. And their offense, I think, was like 16th last year. It's 20th this year. Yeah. And again, the offense is 20th this year. So, I think that what you're just seeing is just like I said, the missing the Cat and just that extra big body. You had, 3 7-footers this year. You have 2. And I think that it's just showing up.
Definitely, man. Pav, we definitely enjoyed talking to you about the NBA. We'll have you back next Monday. Well, actually, next Monday. We won't be on next Monday. I'll be in Minnesota doing Monday Night Football. So we'll have you back. We'll probably have you back. I want to have you back on Friday. We'll talk about next Friday. We'll talk about where everything happened at the NBA Cup game. But let them know where to follow you at, where they can get your tape, everything. We're going to get you out of here.
As always, man, follow me on Twitter at Pavy World, Pavy World, all one word, or Instagram, or Blue Sky, or TikTok, whatever you guys are using these days. And Pavers.com. Go just make sure you go check out the Customs EP with my homie T. And yeah, man, always good talking to y'all. Until next time.
Yes, sir. Y'all can follow Pav, man. We'll holler at you next week, brother. Now we're gonna bring in the squad again, man. We're gonna wrap the show. We got some stuff to talk about, man. I actually want to talk about what was just into the group chat not too long ago before we get into some baseball. But we got Bang, Courtney, and Mikey back. Courtney, we're gonna let you talk your shit in just a minute. I'm gonna let you get your shit off. I got it down. I'm gonna let you get your shit off. But I want to quickly talk about the Jalen Hurts, AJ Brown thing, because why is Brandon Graham running off my now? Now, Courtney, tell me exactly what he said.
So it wasn't actually. Oh, my bad. Also, I'm losing my voice, or I lost my voice.
Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah.
It'd be like that sometimes, you know, your football. I know y'all can't relate.
Okay, all right. She already started. All right.
Championship court is back.
Championship court again. All right.
Hey, it's not my fault. But the good Lord keeps blessing me beyond belief, you know. No, but Brandon Graham, apparently, Mikey, I think, was the one who sent it in the chat. Mikey, you wanna run point on this?
Yeah, so basically just Brandon Graham on, I think, a weekly show that he has in a radio station in Philly, basically kind of, not even basically, he said that, AJ Brown and Jalen Hurts have some beef, that they were friends at one point, but they're clearly not. He thinks that number one being Jalen Hurts, is trying to fix it and trying to get them on the right page. He thinks number 11 is not, AJ Brown not holding up his end of the bargain, and that they kind of need to both dead it, because it's about, the team, and they have an opportunity here, et cetera, et cetera. And, that comes on the heels of AJ Brown yesterday after the game when they asked, what does he feel needs to improve, with the offense. He just said passing. And, you know what that means, that he's definitely taking a shot at his quarterback. So it's pretty blunt and open for somebody like Brandon Graham mid-season, a team that's, I want to say they're 11-2,
to just, he's still on. I know he's hurt, and this is gonna be his last year, but you still on the team.
To openly say that and air that out, I think that's something that 100% needed to stay in the locker room. And this is all good for my man Mike T. There's some dissension in the Eagles organization. I don't know when Jalen Hurts and when AJ Brown speak this week. I'm assuming on Wednesdays, like most quarterbacks. So now Jalen Hurts has to answer to this. AJ Brown's gonna answer to this. Nick Sirianni has to answer this. Kellen Moore has to answer to this on Thursday. And there's gonna be a lot of drama. And then you're gonna have a tough-nosed defense coming in Sunday in the Steelers. And yep, I will be taking the Steelers money line now.
And Mikey, I apologize for not reading the chat, knowing that's you. That's a fine on me. Whoa, that's a fine. That's fine on me. So yeah, I'm gonna do that. But let's go. We're gonna talk baseball real quick. Then I'm gonna give Courtney the floor to talk about her Arizona State Sun Devils and the great weekend that they had this weekend. But I want to talk about Mr. Juan Soto. There's only very few things can take the attention of Twitter in a night where you have Justin Herbert and Patrick Mahomes going. You got a Jay-Z situation that will not be talking about on here, but tune in to summer sessions because I will be talking about it on there. And the topic be Juan Soto, crush all of that. Juan Soto ended his free agency, and there was rumors from different Mets and Yankees beat reporters that, this is going to end tonight. There's going to be a decision made tonight, and it was announced by Jeff Passan last night that Juan Soto signed with the New York Mets on a 15-year, $765 million contract. It is the largest deal in professional sports history. Now, there's an opt-out after the 5th year, which is in 2029. He can opt out, hit the market again, or he can receive $4 million raise per season from $51 million to $55 million for the rest of the contract. So that's a good thing there for Juan Soto. Now, the reports are that the Yankees deal was $760 million, so $5 million less. I know there's a lot of people making jokes about how Steinbrenner, even I made a Succession joke about him being Kendall Roy. But I really think this comes down to, it's not about the numbers. I don't believe that the Yankees are willing to put all that on the table and say, you know what, an extra $5 million is a little too rich for my taste. I believe that for whatever reason, Juan Soto just wanted to go to Queens, play with the Mets, play with the owner who's going to spend money in Steve Cohen, a.k.a. Bobby Axelrod, to play with, my man, Puerto Rican legend, Francisco Lindor.
Speak on it.
I think he wanted to go there. And obviously, I don't think he wanted the same Yankee requirements. Maybe he wanted to grow his hair out. I don't know what he wanted to do. But I believe he just wanted to go to the Mets. And I do believe to the Yankees. I know Yankee fans do not want to hear this, but a lot of Yankee fans reacting. Shout out to my dog Cliff. He's a massive Yankee fan. He put a picture that he took with Juan Soto at a Knicks game this year and said, "You only wanted the money. I wouldn't even geek to meet him. He wanted to meet me more." I'm like, Yankee fans, when y'all are mad, you're like the nigga who is putting up mad points at the local basketball court. Then nigga take your ball and do it better than you, and you want to take the ball home so nobody else can play with it. That's what Yankee fans do in this situation. But I do feel like there's a lot of money still going to be spent. There's ways for them to make this team still contend to get back to the World Series. But this is a massive, massive blow for them. Courtney, I want to get your opinion on it first. What do you think about this deal and how it impacts both clubs?
I mean, it's embarrassing for the Yankees, right? I feel like to a point, yeah, of course, nobody wants to play second fiddle to Judge, which in my opinion must have been a big factor for him. Like, no offense to Francisco Lindor, but Juan Soto in the Mets, you are the star, right? But being a Yankee, you're always going to be second fiddle to Aaron Judge. And who wants to do that for the next 10 years of your career? But it's just so embarrassing that the Yankees really do this whole cry poor thing. They just did it with Blake Snell. I actually just read that today where they were talking about how the Yankees were also in on Blake Snell the same day that he signed and announced with the Dodgers. You know, hang the banners. We got this close to Soto and Snell. Like, that's so embarrassing. You're the most valuable baseball team and one of the most valuable franchises in sports, period. And you have lost out on how many different stars at this point. It's embarrassing. I'm embarrassed. As for the Mets, good for them. Good for them. He's gonna spend a lot of money, and I'm thrilled for that. That's also probably why Jerry didn't want Steve Cohen anywhere near in Major League Baseball.
Well, when I saw that went through, I thought about the thing that Bobby Axelrod said in episode 1 of Billions when he told Chuck Rhodes, "What's the point of having fuck you money if you can never say fuck you?" That's exactly what I heard when I heard this. Mikey, what do you think about this deal?
I mean, I love it for the Mets. I love it for, kind of what they're building. They had a pretty fun run this past, 2 months of the season and going into the playoffs and obviously, making it to the CS. I think it's going to be a seamless transition. You're still going to keep Francisco Lindor there at leadoff, and Lindor gets on base, and having somebody like Juan Soto, play in that ballpark. I want to bring this up right now. Hold on, give me 1 second. Juan Soto's bat works everywhere. His numbers at Citi Field, though, are something else. In 35 career games at Citi Field, which is 146 plate appearances, he has a 1.175 OPS with 12 home runs, including 2 of the 5 longest home runs in the stadiums, 466 feet and 463 feet. Knowing, the type of hitter he is, and he's able to spray the off fields with the way that the dimensions of the ballpark is, he's going to feast in that ballpark. They're going to love him. You're going to see Soto jerseys all over. And President of Baseball Ops David Stearns just said about 40 minutes ago at the baseball winter meetings, we'd love to bring Pete Alonso back. Pete's been a great Met for us, and he's had some enormous hits for us, and we'll see where that goes. I think our ownership has consistently demonstrated that there's going to be resources when we need them. If there's an ability for us to make baseball moves when we think that they're there to improve the team, we're going to continue to pursue a wide variety of areas to continue to improve our team. So it must be nice to root for a team that at least is putting out the effort, putting, their money where their mouth is, and trying to get better and try to get, you're looking at Courtney, I don't know what it is, but you're looking at almost like between a 6 to 8 WAR player in Juan Soto, generational. And, just for Juan Soto, I try to tell people all the time that Yankees legacy shit, that playing for that shit don't mean
anything, bro.
He's won a ring with the Nationals more recently than the Yankees have won a ring. The people that remember the Yankees for what they were, they're dying. Like it's let's be real. Like, they're dying. It's getting up there. I remember the Yankees, as a shorty, but that shit is far, far gone. Shout out to my boy Andy. I made a bet with him in July that Juan Soto will go to the Mets. He said that I was tweaking because he's a Yankee fan, and why would he go there? That would be like going to the White Sox. And I just told him, hey, put your money where your mouth is. So lunch on him.
You got a nice dub coming.
I'm thinking, oh no, I got a nice little lunch. I'm thinking maybe a little bit of Ron in Japan or something. So I'm gonna take him to the well. But I love this move for them, and they obviously still need some more pitching. Luis Severino left. Sean Manaea is a free agent. They went ahead and they signed Clay Holmes from the Yankees, another Yankee that they grabbed, and they're turning him into a starter. So the job's not done for them. That's not where they're gonna end. But it's a good starting point. And just kind of to Courtney's point, the Yankees were going to give him all that money, but then he would have to see guys like Gleyber Torres walk, guys like Clay Holmes walk, and they were not getting Blake Snell, not being able to go ahead and get Corbin Burns if you give him Juan Soto the money he demands. So what was the point?
Ben,
I'm sorry, pardon me. I don't know if you saw that Brian Cashman said again they told Blake Snell that they couldn't pay him until they figured out where they were with Juan Soto. That's crazy to say to that man.
Y'all the Yankees.
No, we're the New York Yankees, but sorry, we don't know if we can pay you yet until we figure out if we can pay this other guy.
That's some Pittsburgh Pirates shit. That's some
right
shit.
Yeah,
That's
I know Orlando. I know Orlando just said Clay is on the Mets. I said that, bro. Get off XV video and pay attention. Pay attention. Okay.
Get off Pornhub, bro.
But also, I don't know if you saw the report from John Heyman earlier today, where he was talking about there were some things that Yankees security and kind of Yankees personnel had did to Juan Soto and his family and some of his entourage throughout the season that he really kind of wasn't fucking with. I don't know if that really played an end, because at the end of the day, $765 million is a lot. But he did, compared to Shohei Ohtani's deal, he did receive $305 million more than Ohtani in present day money by signing that, that contract.
And
so
none of it's deferred, like you said. None of it's deferred.
Nah, he gonna get his bread, and he got his opt out. So we'll see how that goes. Either way, he set himself up, pretty well. Good for him. He's one of the greatest baseball players that we'll ever see. He's already on that trajectory, and for him, he's been traded twice already. So fuck loyalty, get that bread.
Yep. Bang, man, you got a baseball bang take for us before we move on.
Yeah, that's a whole bunch of money. It's a whole bunch of goddamn money. It's not necessarily a comment, it's a question. I remember Juan Soto during my time in DC. They won that World Series, all of that. I remember a lot of people saying that young Mickey Mantle, all of that stuff. I guess my question to you all, because I'm not about to act like I am watching the Mets all day. How does this affect that team? How does this affect in a positive way the Mets? And could Juan Soto bring a championship to Queens one day?
They get some more arms. They went in the LCS this year. I think offensively they're gonna be better than they were, but they gotta get some more arms, like you just said, Mikey. They lost.
If they
gotta get some more arms.
Yeah, definitely. And if they can get some more arms, you got Clay Holmes. Obviously, that's going to be a project. That's kind of the I think they're banking on what the Sox did with Crochet, changing him from a bullpen arm to a starter. There's obviously going to be innings limitations with that. You can't expect him to go deep next year. Pitching probably 200 innings. I would never expect that. So you're probably going to have to add maybe about 3 more starting pitchers. They've lost Severino. Quintana's a free agent, and Sean Manaea is a free agent. So they still have their work, cut out. But I think this is a more attractive spot for, potential free agency. There's still some good, good arms out there.
Definitely, man. We're going to move on to something that I know a lot of y'all have been waiting to hear from, and that is Courtney. Courtney had an amazing weekend, and she got to watch her squad, the Arizona State Sun Devils, win the Big 12 championship at Jerry World. What, you can't hear me? Am I going out?
No,
Okay.
you good. You good.
Okay, I know. Okay,
No,
but
Ben just looked like he was saying something.
oh,
Like he was confused.
no,
Bang
got kids.
giving that parental advice
You're
right now.
Yeah.
I'd be forgetting that he's somebody's father sometimes.
But you also made the Big 12 Instagram. We gonna pull that up right here.
Oh
You had a good time.
Yeah. Okay, if you can't tell.
The
but
floor
yeah,
is yours.
We were causing a fight. That's my sorority sister Emma right there. She flew in for like 30 hours literally to come to this game. So shout out to her if she's watching out there. But no, we had ourselves a damn good time. Listen, we're still playing with house money. Okay, it's been publicly stated from the beginning. This was a rebuilding year for us. We were fully predicted to finish at the bottom of the Big 12. We were not supposed to be in this position. Making it to the Big 12 championship game, awesome. If we didn't win, no hard feelings. It'd be like that. But not only did we get in that bitch, we won. And we stomped a fucking mud hole in their asses. And it was glorious. And thankfully, the committee had the wherewithal to put us where we deserved. Right, in my opinion, should have been ranked higher than that Mountain West squad that got the 3 seed. But I digress. Might have a little bit of a tricky path moving forward in that 4 slot, playing the winner of Clemson and Texas. And we can get into SMU. We'll get into all that in here in a little bit. But all that matters is that ASU is so fucking back, baby. Take my money. Go donate to the Sun Angel Collective. Transfer portal is wide open for business. And ASU is such, obviously I know they haven't been good as of late, but Arizona State is a national brand. It is a school and an institution that everybody knows. So come get on board. Come play for the Sun Devils. It's a great fucking time to be a Sun Devil.
Tell me, what was your feeling? Because I don't know how this feels like to watch a team win a championship in person. I know it feels like to win my team to win a championship, but not in person. How did it feel when the moment clicked that, we're finna win this? Like, what was that moment like for you?
So yeah, for me, fortunately, they didn't stress me out too much. It was kind of like, I think it clicked probably in the late second quarter. And then after halftime, I didn't even know there was going to be a halftime performance. That's my ignorance. I was focused on the football. So I had no idea that. I was like, who the fuck called Neo?
I'm not going to lie. I thought that was the baby at first. I was like, I know that they called Neo in 2024.
Yeah, because I'm like, well, who the fuck called Neo? Don't get me wrong. The white people around me loving it.
I love Neo. Hey, Neo first 3 album run is up there with a lot of niggas first.
Yeah, that's right. And again, I'm not even hating.
It
was a very good show. It was quite. He put on a good show. But I'm like, who the fuck called Neo? But it clicked in the third quarter that this Iowa State team can't hang with us. And I think for me, even I know I talk my shit about my teams and I get excited, but there's always that sliver of doubt. Like, am I tripping? Are we actually good? Bro, this team might actually be fucking good. Right. There were a lot of question marks, obviously, coming into the beginning of the season about, our quarterback is a true freshman. So a lot of pieces, Xavier Alford, a lot of pieces that we didn't know what things were going to look like. Man, this team might be fucking for real. This team might be for real.
They might have a little mojo with them. We're going to get to college playoff matchups in just a second. I wanted to take a quick detour, but since we're staying in the college realm, I wanted to talk about the Heisman. Now, streets are saying that my boy Travis Hunter, he won the Blitnikoff Award, which is they give it to the top receiver. That's the rumor that he's going to win. I don't think they have announced it yet, but I think that's the rumor.
Yes, my sources have confirmed.
I didn't know if you wanted to put your name on it.
No, absolutely. Come to me.
Courtney's sources have said.
My sources have confirmed to me that Travis Hunter has won the Blitnikoff Award.
Okay.
Sorry to spoil it if you really wanted to watch that fucking ceremony. But yeah, in my opinion, that kind of sews up the Heisman for Travis Hunter.
And And they just announced the finalists, which obviously Travis Hunter, Dylan Gabriel of the Oregon Ducks, Ashton. How you pronounce Ashton's last name? Is it
Jeanty?
Jeanty.
Ashton Jeanty, and my boy from my team, Cam Ward of the Miami Hurricanes. I just want to say this because I've been saying this all year, and I think what Ashton's doing is incredible. I think
I'm not trying to hear it. Fuck that Mountain West Merchant.
I'm trying to be nice here, but Travis Hunter is a generational player. Okay, he's generational. I seen some people out there say, "Oh man, he's above average on both positions." First of all, that's a lie. I don't know what you're watching above average. Number two, he's doing what he's doing on both ends of the ball. You can't stop him from getting a touchdown, and he stops you from getting a touchdown. I don't understand what is going on. I don't know if it's part of the Deion Sanders hate, the fact that these niggas finally got a bowl game. I don't know what it is. Ashton's having a good year, but he's just having a good year. And sometimes good years don't matter when you run into a generational talent. And that's just how it is. And like you just said, Courtney, I think this award pretty much seals it. They're going to have the nice announcement, but my boy 12 is coming home with that award, and them just grown men bars that y'all going to have to deal with. Y'all don't care about Boise State. Y'all just don't like Travis. Y'all don't like Colorado, and y'all don't like Coach Prime. Let's just get down to the nitty-gritty of what we're really doing here. At the beginning of the year, a lot of people thought that this team had no shot to even get a bowl game. They didn't make the playoff, but they finished in the top 25, and they got a bowl game. That's the accomplishment, and now they're going to be getting the Heisman. Go ahead, Courtney.
No, I'm saying myself included. I definitely had them in the Tax Quest Cheez-It Bowl.
But you said you think it's
I mean, what it is, the Valero Alamo Bowl, right?
Yeah.
Again, couldn't be my team, but enjoy the Riverwalk. We'll hit up Bill Miller Barbecue, get a chopped pork sandwich. Fire.
Championship quarter's officially back. I haven't heard her talk this much shit in a while.
We're so back, baby. We're
back.
so back.
Ben, any thoughts on this Heisman battle?
I still want to apologize to Deion Sanders for saying that the Colorado Buffaloes wasn't going to be shit. No, man. It is what it is at this point. I see no way in hell that that Travis don't get this award. I don't believe it's going to be close. I believe that it's just a foregone conclusion that he's going to get this award, and it's well deserved on his part. I'm excited to see how he could carry this to the league. So depending on the team that he goes to, maybe it is the Jacksonville Jaguars. They're going to need it. But yeah, man, congrats to him. Congrats to Deion and Shador and everything. And man, I'm happy at the fact that they playing in the bowl game.
Yeah, Deion, we don't do that over here.
No, I'm happy that they're playing in the bowl game. With the playoffs and even before that, a lot of players, especially because it was that Jake Butt, when Jake Butt fucked up, tore his shit.
Yeah,
a lot of players after that was like, nah, we ain't doing it. I like the fact that that these two players are going to be playing in their last game. And the Valero Alamo Bowl was in. That's like a gas station.
Valero's, it's a gas station.
Do Wawa got a bowl?
The Wawa Bowl.
They should. They should.
The Come and Go Bowl.
It should be a Wawa based bowl. Should probably be played somewhere in Pennsylvania, though.
Yeah, like Wawa Bowl.
That makes the most sense.
Come and Go Bowl.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah, but Deion said
it's not even a good gas station.
It's not I mean, gas stations are good though.
Buc-ee's is the greatest gas station in America. Wawa, top 2, top 3.
Wawa, cool.
Good Pilot or a Love's when you're traveling. I'm just saying. You're sleeping on elite convenience stores. I don't know where you live, but we got some good ones.
I hate to interrupt the gas station pizza debate, but to talk on like a little bit of topic that we had earlier, Donovan McNabb of all people, Donovan McNabb on AJ Brown's potential frustration with Jalen Hurts. It's two grown men. It's two grown men. If you got an issue, you come to me. Let's not go through the media because now it blows up. And now what you said is out there in front of everybody. And T.O. with the quote retweet said, now this is interesting coming from you. Not how I interpret it, but funny thing is, I agree with you on the idea of if you have an issue with someone that you go to them and not the media. But here's the thing. I never had an issue with you, but it's known that you had an issue with me. So maybe you should have taken your advice here. Oh, yeah. And we might have won Super Bowl 39, but that's another story for another day. Hashtag just my 2 cents. Hashtag 317. You gave me yours. I'm giving mine. He also put a gold jacket emoji. It's fucking hilarious. Looks like a little karate robe. That shit is funny.
Generational Eagles beef.
Donovan McNabb is the only Chicago athlete I do not like. Fuck Donovan McNabb. He lost me money when I was in high school when they lost that Super Bowl. $50 when you're a 16-year-old is a lot of money. Okay,
I'm pretty sure adjusted for inflation, that'd be like $1,000 right now.
Right, exactly. Right. Donovan McNabb, you lost me $1,000, and so I was a massive T.O. fan. I've had every T.O. jersey when he was actually before he became a journeyman, and T.O. was like, "Oh, I know that ain't who I think it is." That's what T.O. is basically saying.
I honestly was the Eagle. I was like a Philly fan growing up. Like obviously AI, but I was a fake Sixers fan and fake Eagles fan as a kid growing up. If the Bears weren't in, that was always my team.
Eagles were my team, yeah.
Yeah.
Eagles were my team. I was the only nigga not rooting for the Sixers though.
Yeah, you were.
I was a Kobe guy. I was a Kobe. Yeah. I was a Kobe guy when niggas was saying niggas like Ray Allen was better than him. Like that's when I was a Kobe guy. But
I wasn't a Kobe guy until he was already long out the league.
Yeah, that's how majority of people were. I had the moon boots, my nigga. I had the Adidas moon boots. That's how big
bugging. The Adidas Kobe 1.
Yeah, y'all see my man Kobe in the background. Day one Mamba disciple. But anyway, let's close this up with college football playoff talk. I just want to say this about college football playoff. To all y'all niggas out there complaining about how they pick teams, stop it. The BCS was trash, okay? Now, I think they got the right teams. Seeding up for debate, but I think that they picked the best 12 teams in this first iteration of the college football playoffs. Everybody, when the BCS said they were complaining about, oh, this is not the right way to pick playoff teams. Then we get a playoff, it's either it's too many teams or certain teams should be in it. I'm glad Bama didn't make it. It's a great day that Bama didn't make it. They had no business making it. With some of the losses they took, I'm a Miami fan. Once I saw them niggas lose to Kansas, I was like, no. And even other wins they got, the last minute win they got earlier, they should have not been in the playoffs either. I think they picked the best 12. So let's go over that. The 4 seeds, which get a first round bye. Oregon finishes number 1. They'll be playing in the Rose Bowl. Georgia, we finished in number 2. They just beat Texas this weekend. They'll be playing in the Sugar Bowl. We don't know who's going to be playing. Look like Carson Beck is going to be out. That arm did not look right, and they even had shot him telling one of the other players that it's bad, bro. So I don't think he's going to play. Who knows? Third seed, Boise State. They're going to play in the Fiesta Bowl. And, of course, 4th seed, Courtney's Arizona State. And they'll be playing in the Peach Bowl. Now, before we get to the first round matchups, people actually going to be playing in the first round, y'all got any problems with the way the first 4 teams will rank? Go ahead, Courtney.
I don't necessarily have, how I feel about Boise State in the Mountain West. I'm sorry. It's a fucking joke. You're not going to tell me that the Mountain West is somehow a better conference than even the ACC or the Big 12. When did that happen? I'm asking. This is a
never.
When the fuck did that happen?
Never.
Oh, well, they almost beat Oregon, but they didn't.
They didn't, yeah.
Because how many teams did they almost lose to? Like getting into these arguments, it's so silly. I think, listen, I agree with you. Bama had no business in this playoff, but there are a lot of mistakes in how they handled it. Honestly, this new setup, it's not great. And I imagine that it will change again here within the next 2 years. I give it 2 years before they change it again. Not
Yeah.
You think
not
they're
the
gonna?
complete
What do you think they're
playoff.
gonna change?
I think they're
I
gonna
mean,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
go
Mikey.
ahead. No, go ahead. Go ahead. I think we're going to the same spot.
I think they might change the automatic conference championship, the
I
first
got you.
four. I think they're going to change that. One, because it doesn't make sense. You have multiple power conferences, right? How do you decide which four are the first that are going to get in? Like that, that's kind of weird. And then when you try to like dissect, what criteria they use and how they apply it, it changes team by team. It just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Also, I think we're putting a tremendous amount of weight on these conference championship games because we're keeping it a buck. I know I got the cup. It's a great little mug, but SMU ain't got no business in this fucking playoff. You don't get to lose your conference. I don't care if you went to the conference championship game. At that point, now you're 11-2. That's still a loss. You still have a loss. It's still a loss. I feel like I'm fucking crazy because they're like, oh, well, you made the conference championship game. So that's the rope. Just for making it? What if you lose they lost the game.
I think it's in the fashion that they lost it. If they would have just gotten smoked, I think it would have been a little bit of a different data point, and maybe you would have had a different conversation. But even then, fans, Miami fans, y'all can't say shit. Y'all got to just shut the fuck up, because if y'all would have beat Syracuse, right, you have to be salty, because if you would have beat Syracuse and gone to the ACC championship and lost, you would have got in. You would have got in.
But may I interject? They lost to an 8-3 Syracuse team.
Very true.
Again, by all intents and purposes, a very good Syracuse team, especially if we're trying to weight these wins.
Right. Syracuse loss was unacceptable. The Kansas loss was unacceptable.
Teams that they beat this season that were ranked was UNLV twice. UNLV fucking sucks. UNLV sucks, as seen by the performance that they put on in the Mountain West Championship game. I'm just saying. I think this system still, it's almost like they're trying to hold on, because I mean that's college sports as a whole. You're trying to hold on to these antiquated beliefs and systems while also trying to integrate it with the new stuff. And also still appease. And you can't make everybody happy. And I think they're trying to do that after they pissed off the ACC last year and shafted Florida State. And it's almost like a big makeup call.
I think they need to find a way to incentivize the number one seed, because if you look at this bracket,
Oregon
what does Oregon get for being the number one seed and being the best team, over the last 2 months in college? They get to play the winner
from hell.
They get to play the winner of Ohio State, Tennessee, and if they somehow get through that, they're getting either Texan or Clemson, not to shit on your Arizona State Sun Devils, but maybe, so you got to go through Ohio State, probably Texas, and, like the one that's sitting pretty to me, and this has stood out since I've seen it, Notre Dame. Notre Dame is in a prime position to.
And they ain't got no fucking business in this bitch either. They don't play a conference championship game, and you lost to the Northern Illinois Huskies at home, who, if I'm not mistaken, finished 7th in the fucking MAC.
But they lost in September, and from when they lost in September, they literally steamrolled everybody, minus the USC game. That was a touchdown game, and that it's just. With this, it's all, what have you done for me lately?
Yeah, because they trying to act like they care about the schedule, but they don't at the same time. And I think that's
you beat Texas A&M early in the season, right?
First week.
If we're gonna get into that recency bias thing, you beat Notre Dame, Texas A&M earlier in the season. You beat Louisville, which they didn't count that as a good win for some of these ACC teams. They don't count it as a good win for Miami, and they didn't when they were factoring that in. And you beat USC, who did they finish the season 6-6? How is that a good win? Just because of the brand, off the strength of the brand? That's crazy.
I think it's also just the other teams that shit the bed in between. Alabama shit the bed. Miami shit the bed. Who's another team that was left out? Was
South
it
Carolina, Ole Miss,
South Carolina, Ole Miss? But Ole Miss, terrible losses to Kentucky, terrible loss to so it's
to
all
Florida,
to Florida. Yeah, and Florida. Why you should have just started lag away from the beginning.
But Ole Miss also beat Georgia, so you get into this sort of ticky-tacky thing. But again, and I absolutely wholeheartedly believe we should not have 3 lost teams in the playoff. But you cannot, not you personally, but you cannot tell me that a 2-loss ACC team is somehow better than some of these 3-loss SEC teams.
But I think that's also
Isn't that what this is supposed to be about?
But I think it's
Having
also
the
what
best
you said
12
was
teams?
the first year or two is going to be a little clunky because they're still trying to figure it out. But I do think there's some things that might be in. I agree with you on 3-loss thing, but for the most part, I think the process is a little clunky. But I don't really have too much of a problem with the teams that actually made it. Ben, what's your thoughts on the process and the 12 teams that actually made the playoffs?
I don't think there's going to ever be a perfect way of determining who's the national champion. Just don't. When I was younger, shut up, Orlando. When I was younger, it was like, who was ever the number one team in the nation at the end of the year, the AP joint. Then you had the coaches poll, so you had like a national champion and a national champion there. Then the BCS, which tried, and then you had the small playoff, and then you have this right now. And even with this, you got people complaining because I'm with Courtney. If you don't win especially if that's the rules, if you don't win your conference, well, why are we talking? I don't give a damn about a strength of schedule if you ain't cleared out your division. So I don't think it would be ever be a perfect way of determining who's going to be the national champion because everybody is going to complain about it. Hell, SEC, Big Ten, if y'all want to create your own super conference and have y'all own champion, that's cool. But again, I don't think it's a perfect way for you to pick who is a national champion. With
So
that being,
remember when the Big 12 used to be the Big 8.
Actually,
He said,
So,
actually,
yeah.
that's correct.
I remember the game of the first Big 12 championship game. Texas won that. Yeah, I remember that.
I'm sorry.
Hey, she asked me, was I old enough to vote in Kerry versus Bush?
That's crazy.
I'm still not over that. I ain't that old.
That was crazy. I'm sorry.
I was a freshman in high school.
With that being said,
Max, I was a sophomore. I take the out sophomore. I was 2004.
With that being said, I like the matchup.
In 2004?
I was a sophomore. I was 04, 05. I was a sophomore.
You were a sophomore?
Okay, relax on me. Yes, I started high school September 2003. Yes, I was in high school when the Black Album came out. Leave me alone.
Same.
Yeah, bro. I'm pretty sure I was in elementary school.
Nikhil wasn't born. Nikhil, our producer, wasn't born.
That's
Man,
crazy.
2003, I had a wallet full of them cards, if you know what I mean, Bang.
Nigga,
I was out there snatching them. I was out there snatching up them V's.
I had rubber bands on my Jabot jeans because I thought I was T.I. I had rubber bands on my jeans and I had on my wrist. They sell no drugs.
I definitely had rubber bands on my jeans at my 8th grade graduation party.
Shout out to Jabot.
That's gonna have to be like my new qualifying question. Like, where were you and do you remember 9/11? Like that's
yeah. 100%.
I can tell you what I ate on 9/11.
If you
I remember
on 9/11, can't have a conversation.
I actually went to school that day, and my little brother's still home, and I remember being pissed, like, why is he staying home when I'm going to school?
We went to school.
We didn't get sent home, but that's when I knew my brother was my mom's favorite.
This is sound messed up. The only thought I had was I was wondering why my cousin couldn't take me to go get the blueprint. I was like, this not even happening in Chicago. What this guy do with me? This was the mind of a 13-year-old. That was happening. But
nah, Nikhil, you better be joking, bro.
Yeah, Nikhil. That's funny. That's funny. But let's talk about the actual last 8 teams, the final matchups as we close this up. So the first round matchups, you got number 5 Texas You didn't have a pair of G units. G units came out 2003 or they came out 04.
Yeah, like 04. I had them too. Shout out to the hip. I got them at the hip. My uncle took me one of
the
his side
G-Units
pieces,
and
the first ones.
Yeah, I had the
Yep.
S-Shots too. Remember the commercial with Homer 50? I'm showing my
Yep.
age right now. But anyway, the first round matchups, you got number 5 Texas taking on number 12 Clemson. You got number 6 Penn State taking on 11 SMU. You got number 7 Notre Dame taking on number 10 Indiana. And you got number 8 Ohio State versus number 9 Tennessee. Now, all of these games will be actual home games for the higher seed. So this first time you have playoff games at a non-neutral site, I think that's going to be a dope element to see. The game that kind of stands out to me, I think, is really Notre Dame, Indiana. I think Notre Dame's in a good spot, but I think it's going to be an ugly football game. I don't think there's going to be a lot of points scored. That's going to be one of them ugly defensive type games. But I also am interested to see Ohio State versus Tennessee at the same time, because I did not like how Ohio State finished into that season. Courtney, what you think about these 4 matchups? Which one stands out to you? We're not going to pick winners yet because we still got almost 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But what stands out to you?
The most interesting one to me that I'm most excited for is Ohio State, Tennessee. That's going to be a great game. I don't really care about the Indiana Bowl. That don't move me, mainly because Notre Dame doesn't move me. That program, again, kind of like I said earlier, about you off the brand alone is why they're involved in this discussion. But yeah, Texas Clemson in Austin, that's elite football. That's the one thing that this playoff got right, because those are going to be some great football games. Shit, actually, what day is that game on?
I think it's December 21st.
Don't threaten me with a good time. Yeah, because that's right before I got my little vacation. Shit. Don't let me end up in Austin. And do some self-scouting to see, send Coach Dillingham. This is what the boys. this is who we're opposition
looking like. Mikey, which matchup stands out to you out of these 4?
Friday, December 20th, Indiana versus Notre Dame. Being that we're here in the Midwest, I will find my way to a local Notre Dame bar just to kind of be around the vibes. I'm gonna treat that like how us Puerto Rican and Black folks, we treat St. Patty's Day. We got nothing to do with it, but I want to be around the energy.
We're gonna be a part of it, right? Yeah.
I will be there. So that game for sure, just because of the local Midwest ties. And I think that'll actually be a pretty high scoring affair. The game for me that I'm most interested in, obviously, is gonna be Ohio State, Tennessee. I think Texas is gonna dog walk Clemson. I think Penn State is going to do SMU dirty. So the 8 and 9 and the 7 and 10 game have potential to be really good games. Shout out to the games being on a Friday night. I got to see the full schedule, but I'm very interested in this, and I will be gambling on some of these games. I got to see the spreads on these shits. Bang, we got to cook up one.
Yeah, I'm gonna follow your lead though. I like these matchups. It's going to be very interesting. I don't really foresee a lot of blowouts like that, because it's a little bit different when now you're going into places that you ain't used to going. So that's what and then plus, for the last couple of years, you're normally breaking to chill out and then practice for a bowl game. They getting right to it. But let me see. Out of all of the go ahead.
It's kind of crazy. No, just to say, man, like I'm looking at it right now. Every road team is a touchdown underdog or more. Indiana is a 7.5 point dog. SMU is an 8.5 point dog. Clemson is an 11 point dog, and Tennessee is a 7.5 point dog. And I wonder what it would have been on a neutral field.
Yeah, right. And
probably a field goal.
Probably
couple fives, couple 4.5s.
But I'm interested. If I look at all of the matchups from a state standpoint, I do love the Notre Dame Indiana game, but Ohio State versus Tennessee, I am very interested in, just to see if Tennessee in this position with everything that's been going on, just a revitalization of the program and stuff. I want to see if they could take Ohio State out. And being that I hate Ohio State, I need them to take them out.
Yeah. You when Michigan won, I showed Joey. I was gonna show Joey a text, but that nigga looked like he wanted to assault everybody.
Yeah. I saw them tweets on Twitter. I was like, man, I hope you don't show that.
I was like, I want no problems with this, man. But that concludes our college football coverage. That concludes the show today, man. Great show. Shout out to Pavy for joining us. We'll be back on Friday. We are not. There's a 95% chance there will not be a show on Monday because I plan on covering Monday Night Football next week in Minnesota. I will know for a fact on Friday. So if anything changes, I will let y'all know on Friday. But prepare for this to be the last Monday show of the year because on the 20th will be the last show of the year. Then we going on break to January 3rd, which means my phone will be on D&D till January 3rd. I will not, outside of covering Bears games, I will be doing nothing but being in the house, getting intoxicated, and watching movies that I didn't get to see this year because I refused to pay the $5 at the movie theater if it's not a franchise. But I'm gonna talk about that on Summer Sessions. My point on that because it costs too much to go to the movie theater now, bro. Like it really do. So I'm gonna get to that.
Go on Cheap Ticket Tuesdays, big dog. AMC does have off. Let me
taking baby girl to go see Gladiator 2 tomorrow because Christmas coming around. I can't spend the $45 for two people to the movie.
My brother in Christ, let me go ahead and save you that $20 right now. Don't do it.
Ooh.
It was atrocious. I went on Thanksgiving to go see it. It was not great. First off, half the movie felt like a Dior Sauvage ad. It was dark and it was weird as hell. Why the fuck it was the weirdest Training Day sequel I've ever seen in my life. Because why does Denzel sound like that amongst a bunch of Romans? It made no sense.
So he was in Rome talking about Jake.
It was bizarre.
I might have to see if my website got it then, if that's the case.
Yeah, I haven't heard any good review. I had no plans to see it.
Wicked. Ain't that what all the girls are singing now? I haven't seen it.
What?
I heard
which one?
Wicked.
She went to go see it with her girl last Monday night, so I got to enjoy a little football dolo. And she was gone for like 4 hours. She's like, "Yo, this movie's fucking 3 hours long." I was like, "All right, fuck it."
3-hour movie. I can't.
I hate musicals. I hate musicals with a fiery passion in my heart. But the next movie I'll be seeing is Captain America 4, so that's another 2 months from now. But yeah, man. So
no Moana 2. That's crazy.
Ain't there some shit? There's some good shit I think coming out on Christmas Day. But
don't you got kids?
That Bob Dylan movie.
Moana 2.
We're not doing that shit. It's them kids bad. I ain't that parent that goes to the movies and shit with 3 kids. Fuck that shit. We ain't going to see no Moana. They don't. That's
what I'm going to see. I'm going for my little cousin's 10th birthday. He wanted him and his boys the Sonic the Hedgehog 3. That's what I'm gonna go see with him.
I'm gonna get my own popcorn. I'm gonna cut all the lights out on my 55-inch 4K TV, and I'm gonna watch Twister. Cinema, nigga.
Quick
the
question.
second one, Twisters. That shit's fire.
Yeah.
What's the craziest food you've ever snuck into the movie theater?
I don't sneak movie theater because I'm a law-abiding, tax-paying citizen. I don't do that.
You can actually bring in food now. You don't gotta sneak it.
You can literally commit a murder.
Yeah, you don't gotta sneak it no more. But I walked in with some flautas from the Mexican spot, and then I opened up the green sauce. Yeah, I went to Webster over there on Clybourne, and there's a taco spot on Fullerton and Clybourne. At Fullerton and Ashland, I grabbed some flautas. I went to Webster. Yep.
I got called bougie.
I definitely snuck in a Tupperware full of Thanksgiving food.
Yeah, see, no,
that shit's not even warm. What are you eating cold? Potato salad? You eating potato salad at the movies?
Who eats potato salad on Thanksgiving?
Puerto Ricans. That's Puerto Ricans. That's Puerto Ricans.
Potato salad Thanksgiving. What are you talking about?
That's Puerto Rican.
Memorial Day? What?
Niggas have potato salad on anything.
He said I snuck in a torta. We talking about food, bro. I know what type of torta you talking about.
Look, I would say this: if you sneaking in chips or like even a slice of pizza, if like niggas be talking about I'm sneaking in Harold's, I'm calling the authorities.
I definitely
not
have snuck
smell-
in some chicken wings, boneless.
I better not turn around. I smell Baba's when I'm in the movie theater.
Nah. We legit had Mexican food one time, and then one time my dad snuck in some Wendy's.
See, Wendy's ain't bad. You can put
I
Wendy's
do
This
in
is
a
a
bag.
Baconator.
Yeah, Wendy's ain't bad. You put it in a bag. Courtney, I'd have definitely called security.
Why?
with the
I'm
double
taking it out of my
You went-
purse.
You
Just
watching
unlisten
Batman
into my
and you
workout.
got a full course, man. You eating stuffing and
I already
cornbread.
sliced everything up before I got there. I don't see
What
what
are
the
we
problem
doing?
is.
What do we have? Chicken nuggets like a sane human being.
Y'all
Anyway.
are funny, man.
Anyway, man, like I said, so we back on Friday. No show next Monday. I'll be in Minneapolis, and then next Friday will be our last show of the year, man. So you can follow Bang at GR Bang, all social media platforms. You can follow Mikey at Junior_Solito on Twitter. You can follow Courtney at 1-800-COLLAR-BRO on all social media platforms. And you can follow your boy at Barberchair Scott on all social media platforms. That's Twitter, that's Blue Sky, it's Instagram, it's TikTok, all that, man. Subscribe to the Patreon, patreon.com/Barberchair Network. If you are listening to this on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, the link will be in the description box. If you're watching this on YouTube, take your phone up to the QR code. It'll take you right to the different tiers. If you subscribe to the $10 holla, that is the Barberchair All Access tier, you will get 25% off your first order at the Barberchair Network shop. That is bcnetshop.com. And of course, follow the Barberchair Network at Barberchair Net on all social media platforms. Follow our partners, H&B Media, at H&B Media TV on Twitter, and at H&B Media on Instagram. We will holler at y'all on Friday. We up out of here.